Welcome, welcome. Now you see us, hear us, and we've got our wonderful guest with us. And he's none other than the famous Kevin MacLeod. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
We're glad that you're here.
Yes.
So, guys, I'm sorry once again for the little delay, but well, things happen. And
Yeah, it was all Kevin's fault. 100% Kevin's fault. I was programming and I completely lost track of time. I didn't have my alarm set. It was all on me. I'm a flighty musician, all right?
there are at least 3 people in the chat and 1 here in the TeamSpeak who can understand the I lose track while programming stuff.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So, absolutely no problem with that. So, anyway, I think you don't really have to talk much about what you're famous for. So
it's graph paper.
Yeah.
It's graph paper.
I'm
exactly.
famous for graph paper.
So let's
Google graph paper and you will find his site amongst the first 3 hits.
Yes, but
hopefully number 1 by next week. I'm shooting for that.
Yeah.
Not number 1 yet. So tell us about the new features of your graph paper. So you will make Crate very happy, believe me. So let's talk about graph paper first.
Well,
I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
I will talk about it. It's already loaded in my brain. So I went to look at the other graph paper sites. I'm like, why is somebody better than me? I clearly have the best product out there. And I saw one that just had a print button right off the front, so you don't have to make it and download it and open it. You just print it right from your browser or whatever. So that's what I'm implementing now, like quick hits, so that you can just come there and in 2 clicks you can have a piece of graph paper. A limited variety, but very, very fast. You can print graph paper very fast now, or you will be able to. It's not. I haven't uploaded it yet.
See, Crate in our chat says, actually, a few days ago I was searching for graph papers for math. So, well, you know where to get it. Well, actually,
absolutely.
He actually found your site, and then I didn't know you did graph paper before I realized that I actually used your service once when I was printing some hexagon stuff for a role-playing game. So
yeah.
So while we're talking about your site, let's pitch it so that everyone knows it and can Google for it, so it will hit number 1 for sure.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, isn't Google based on clicks? So
yeah,
yes.
Google is based on clicks and search requests. It's both.
I feel really bad now because people are going to go to it and they're going to be like, "Oh, this looks like it was made 7 years ago," which was, I think, the last time I updated it.
Well, I mean, it's like old horses still have a kick. I don't know how they say it in English.
Let's say it that way. Yeah, that's a good one. I've never heard it before.
It's a German thing.
Yeah.
So, but it translates very well, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand it.
Anyway, Incompetech.com is if I read correctly, you started it in 1996, right?
That's right.
So that's about 3 years after I did my first adventures in the net, and those were interesting times back then, right?
They really were. Everything was new, and yeah, I did a lot of things back then. That was my job. I was a web developer way back in the day. And eventually the tech bubble sort of died, and I went into music. So there's a direct line there.
That's interesting. So, but I mean, I've seen you live on Twitch. So I think it was Christmas 2016 where you and 2 friends of yours were playing together, and I saw you.
Oh yeah,
that live jam. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. And you have quite a ton of instruments, and you seem to play quite a ton of instruments. So you didn't you didn't start in 1996, while the tech bubble is over, and now I go to instruments, right? So how did you get into music originally?
I originally went to school for music education. Why? I'm not entirely sure because I don't like teaching children. So that was a bad move for me. But then I got hired while I was still in college. I had gone through 4.5 years, and I got a way better paying job making websites.
I know that one, yeah. Archaeology pays less good than web design anyway.
Well, maybe not anymore, because I mean, most everyone's gone over to like Squarespace, and unless you need to do something really bizarre, like big database stuff, you can like I recommend, like, everyone's like, hey, you're a web developer, what make me a site. I'm like, nope, go to Squarespace. It's really it's gonna be a lot easier for everybody.
That's true, yeah. I mean,
this podcast is sponsored by Squarespace.
Unfortunately not, but if they want to.
They can. We are open for any sponsors at any time because we are a greedy bunch and have been for 4 years, and that's why we have made absolutely no plus in all that time. No, it's this podcast definitely is more a project of the heart and soul, and no, but web design, yeah, right. Today anyone can do it. Just go to WordPress or wherever, and
WordPress is another good one.
Yeah, do your blog or whatever you want to do.
Our next sponsor.
I can rattle off a few, but I mean, it was for me at least, it was a small. It was very slow days. Like, I mean, in the beginning, it was sufficient if you knew like HTML, and then you were into JavaScript suddenly, and then you started Perl CGIs, and then you went to Python and later Ruby and all that stuff, and then you realized, well, but people can still do it better now with just using WordPress, and so the market died down. That's true.
Yeah.
But so what was the original content of Incompetech.com? What was it? Was it like your typical web design site with prices, and I'll do this for you for $25?
No. Incompetech never made websites for people. That was my own personal website where I just did like a lot of proof of concept stuff and like just things that I was interested in.
How did you came up with the name?
It's really the fusion of incompetence and technology.
I thought so, but sometimes there's something more sinister behind it.
It is it was just fun because I have been enamored with incompetence forever. I love how do I even put this? Years ago, there was a study that came out by Dunning and Kruger, which was basically said that people who think they're really good at something are generally not good at something. And the more confident people are, the less good they were. And I'm like, this is golden. But no, I mean, I really love, there's all sorts of different, like, I love music that is bad. Like a band made up of 12-year-olds, like a school band.
Yeah.
I love listening to those bands because they are trying so hard. And it's really the result of that is really quite delightful. So I try to get out and see high school bands and young kids playing. Not because they're bad, but because you can hear the effort so much.
And the passion behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I can go to see an actual, orchestra, and it's like they can play anything, and they're fine. It sounds great, but you don't really hear the struggle in there, and I really enjoy that struggle.
Yeah, that's also and there's a certain wisdom to that after all, because if you have people that have done stuff for a long time and they are confident in their skills, they've stopped moving forward because they think what they do is, well, perfect already, and that prevents them from getting better. And I think exactly that struggle you see when you see a school band play or a garage band play who want to get on MTV or
Is MTV still the thing?
Or whatever. I don't know what the thing is. I don't watch music channels that much, I must admit.
Is television still a thing?
That would be the next one.
I don't watch television very much either. I mean,
is there an MTV equivalent on Netflix?
No, not on Netflix, but
no, it's all on YouTube now.
Yeah,
that's Vivo is where all the big videos go. Yeah, it's all YouTube.
But Vivo is just a mirror of the actual site, right? The YouTube videos. They have an actual site of their own, Vivo. I found it by accident the other day, I thought. More or less. When I was
I'm guessing they're not getting the same number of hits they are getting off of YouTube, which is enormous.
No, definitely not. And yes, there are certain songs on YouTube, millions and millions of views, but well, they are the same earworm over and over again.
Right.
But you can find very old songs there, and even German songs, and I like that. I don't get much chance here usually to listen to my native language, and so sometimes even though I don't like the songs, I just want to hear the language.
Yeah, what is the experience being on the internet not in English? Because it looks pretty English-centric to me, but is that just because Google, that's what they give me?
No, it's 80% of the contents of the internet are actually in English. So that's why I always tell people that it's important that they learn English. So not just to listen to an interview like this one, which is held in English, but also to get certain content. For example, you want to see news from different angles. So you might read the German news first, and then you go on and simple example, Brexit. If you see news coverage on Brexit and you watch it on CNN or wherever, and then you read the English Guardian, and then you read the German news and the French news, then you definitely get a more global picture of what's going on and how the different sides view it, because of course they are not objective, they are not neutral, they are writing what they know, well, their audience wants to hear. So, and that way you can get it from different angles. And even, I mean, that's something, even in Germany, I advise people to read both the Frankfurter Allgemeine, which is very conservative often, and the Spiegel, which is very liberal. So they get, and I think that's why it's important to learn English. Also, of course, if you want to get information on different topics, usually you have a much larger collection when you also understand English. So for me, that wasn't such a big problem because I partly grew up in South Africa, and so I grew up into English at least a bit, and then came back and well, got my accent back, but but yeah, that's well, the South African accent is also very very nice. So anyway, but yeah, I think it's very important to learn English.
What? I love those blended accents. I had a friend of mine who like grew up in Tanzania, I forget, from London. And then he came to the U.S. and he was at a bar in San Francisco, and the bartender's like, "Wow, you having because his accent is very weird, you know, African British mixing." He's like, "You speak English really well. Where are you from?" And he's like, "I'm from England, you know, where English England, comes from." But then, yeah, I have another friend who was South African, Australian. Very bizarre accent.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I can't do it. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Such a shame.
I can imagine it's very hard to imitate that one.
yeah, I can't do either. I can't do South African or Australian. So the mix of them is just incomprehensible to me.
I remember one guy I knew in South Africa, and he was from Yorkshire, and but he would say like not much but mooch, and and not Duncan but Duncan, and so it was very bizarre for me because I was just really well, I had school English before, but I was just learning to get into the language, and then this guy comes along and what what did you just say? Yeah, very very interesting, and South Africa definitely is a melting pot of different English dialects. Very interesting country, and I love it very much. Not so good at the moment to get there, but well, at least not to live there for vacation. It's fine, but it's a very nice country. But we didn't want to talk about me, but you.
No, we're talking about me. Yes, great.
So, oh yeah, the name, Kevin MacLeod. So I don't know if you saw the little pic I did on Twitter to advertise the stream.
I did not.
Ah, see, but I kind of butchered your name because I made it like MacLeod. Do you know Highlander?
Yeah. No, that's everyone references that.
See, and well, there can be only one, but I did
be only one.
But I did the Mac without the A. So, but
there are at least 3 or 4 Kevin MacLeods that are pretty famous, though. So,
oh, there.
There's another musician in Scotland. I have to be the bane of his existence. I haven't ever talked to him.
But he gets a lot of emails for free internet music.
He probably gets a lot of sales off of me, honestly.
Oh.
Like when you go to my YouTube channel, like it recommends albums by that guy. Like, so I was talking to the YouTube people and like, because they try to find the names and they put them together, and yeah, if you just go to my channel, it'll show you the wrong music to purchase.
Actually, when I of course did some, well, we both did some research on you, and when I Googled, well, at least there you are the number one. I didn't see any other Kevin MacLeods.
Yeah, there's a member of the government in Canada.
Yeah, that was my first hit, and I thought,
he's in charge.
We get a senator? Yeah. What?
In charge of when the Queen comes over, I guess. And then there's a television host in England, also of that name. I have to go, and I'm gonna go turn off my heater. It's very loud here. I'll be back in like a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Problem. If our chat has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
Absolutely.
We've got that option as well.
And Mac is, of course, an exception. He started with music and then became a web developer. I stopped with music when I did that.
All right, I think I got it fixed.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, okay,
we couldn't hear it, so that's...
well, it's very annoying here. Well, this microphone has some pretty good rejection, but hopefully in the next couple of minutes I'll be able to hear you guys better.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Now you can all come over and fix my heater because it's not loud. It just doesn't heat. Okay. So let me see. Where were we?
It's funny that we are just stuttering when Crate is pointing out that our flow is working out very well.
Oh yeah. It's working out very
Yeah,
good.
we were talking about home heating and cooling systems, and I'm
Right,
very
right.
excited that that mine's working again. It broke when it was like minus 26 here.
Ouch.
Like,
Yeah.
I got up, it was really cold that morning. Like, oh no.
Where are you living in Alaska?
Yeah, close. It's been very cold in the upper in the U.S. in the last couple weeks.
Oh, okay. So, but speaking of your home, so sometimes we can see your the room you were streaming in, whatever that is. Is it your music room or?
Yes. For tax
And
purposes, absolutely.
okay, legally noted.
Yes.
So as said, I saw a bunch of instruments there. So let's hear. So basically, what's your repertoire? So what instruments can you play, or is it too many to?
Or is it easier to
Um,
ask what you don't play?
Well, like I have a guitar, but I cannot play it. I'm just terrible at it.
Oh, that was a nice Fender, right?
Say again?
Was that the nice Fender I saw in one?
Yeah,
Speech?
it's no, I actually won it like not that long ago. Like
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, I was at a bar and there was a luthier, a guitar builder there who was like, "I've got this guitar, I can't sell it, so I'm gonna sell tickets." So he sold 100 tickets for $10 each, and I bought 4, and I won it.
Do you desperately wanted it, or just do him a favor?
I was looking for a guitar, but I don't know anything about them, and I don't really have any friends here because guitars are difficult to buy. And they're just like, go buy like either an American or Mexican-made Fender Strat, and that'll get you most of what you need.
Okay.
And they're about $600, and I just didn't get one, but then the opportunity presented itself and I won. So, oh, good God.
So you've got a guitar you can play.
I now have a guitar, right? Which I've already used.
Okay, what else did I see there? There was the saxophone.
Yep, I got a sax. I got some trumpets. I got a couple clarinets, like 7 accordions.
Yeah.
I got a lot of accordions. I enjoy playing accordion very much. A piano, yeah, got one of those. And I think that's about it. Well, flutes and various didgeridoos and little bits and pieces.
Harpsichord.
I do not have one.
No, I thought I saw one. Didn't you play? What was it? Didn't you play? There was something on your Twitter channel, some Guns N' Roses song you played, I thought. But I only heard it in the background, so.
Oh, okay. That was probably accordion.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So mostly the I don't even know the English word for that. Blasinstrumente.
Which one? Fagotte?
So trumpets and clarinets and the more piano style instruments. So that's more of your poison. So what's your favorite instrument amongst them?
I mean, it depends on what I'm doing. Accordion is really good. Like really good. For a single player, it's got beautiful dynamics. You can do chords, you can do all the stuff, and you can just be one person, and it sounds great. I don't do. People ask me, it's like, can you do polkas? I'm like, more like, I can do classical and I can do rock. I guess I can do polkas, but that's not really what I do.
And that's more a Weird Al thing, I think.
Yeah. By the way, fantastic musician right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I won't try to pronounce his last name. I won't.
Yankovic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Meg is asking, what about hurdy-gurdies?
Do not have one.
I don't
even know where you'd get one. Wow.
I don't even know what a hurdy-gurdy is.
Hurdy-gurdy is like a medieval instrument where you have like a rotating drum inside of a box,
Oh,
and then you
those
press
things, yeah.
you press down levers that have strings on them.
Ah,
It's kind of like an automatic violin weird thing. So you have this resonant cylinder, and then you push the string down on the. It's kind of like a bow that you spin.
I think I saw that when I was on a concert of Dead Can Dance. They're using a lot of weird instruments, and I think I saw that.
Yeah, they sort of dropped out of popular usage around, I don't know, 1620. So
Yeah, then
it's been a while since we've heard a lot of popular hurdy-gurdy music.
Yeah,
then it's definitely an instrument for Dead Can Dance.
we've got kind of a medieval theme going around in Germany currently, so I wouldn't be surprised if you get one here.
Sweet.
So
well, you can do
a lot around in Germany.
You can do a lot. Like, there's a lot of cool medieval music that you can do on classical guitar, because that hasn't changed in hundreds of years, really.
Yeah.
I used to play the guitar, but I broke my wrist, and so I cannot hold the left hand in that angle for a prolonged time anymore. So I switched to other instruments.
Switch to right-handed or left-handed, as it were.
I tried that, but even though I'm ambidextrous, that somehow doesn't get into my brain. So
it takes time.
So instead, I was lucky because I was a friend in the dormitory, students' dormitory, and he taught me to play didgeridoo. And then,
nice.
And then I learned a bit of harmonica, and I still remembered a bit of flute from school days. So when I get the notion to annoy people, then that's what I play. Actually,
I mean, on the scale of annoying, flute is usually not near the top.
Oh, when I played it is.
Oh, fair enough. I was not aware of your level of incompetence.
Yeah, but see, that level of incompetence always grants me the opportunity to get even better, and I am very dedicated when I play the flute.
Nice.
Which is usually on Sunday mornings after breakfast.
What would be your most annoying instrument? Sorry.
Like, well, people think that accordion is an annoying instrument. A violin played by somebody who can't play a violin is really annoying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't know.
So
I'm sure there's a list of what tops the most annoying instruments.
I think clearly drums.
Drums?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Drums by a bad drummer?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
So
I mean,
bad.
you could add by a bad musician, then everything sounds bad. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if you have a beautiful sounding piano, it's going to sound like a beautiful piano played by a person who's terrible at it.
Okay, fair enough.
But like a violin, you need technique just to get a good note, like one note.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, actually, I was with a violin player for a while, and she used to train a lot, of course, every day. And I can tell you, in the morning, it was awful, no matter how good she played. So we noticed you actually had some German contact, so to speak, before us. You won some prize in the Web Awards 2015.
Yeah.
So we know they usually are extreme cheapos when it comes to prizes. And I watched the video. You weren't there in person, right?
I was not. No, they offered to bring me there, and I'm like, I don't want. I mean, it was like a big deal. It was televised, big dressy uppy affair, and I'm like, this entire broadcast is in German, and I know no German. So what do? You step on stage and say "Danke," and then wander off? I mean, what do you do?
It would have been correct. So
I had some of my friends who speak German write like a 3-sentence thing for me, and I rehearsed it, and then I didn't get on a plane and did not go after all. I don't remember any of it, but they said I was pretty clean by the end of, or at least understandable. I still sounded foreign, but.
That's a shame. We would have loved to hear that.
Yeah, right?
No, really. No, but I think you could have just done it in English. I think during the last awards there was someone actually there. We just presumed that it was their usually lack of funding because they're not very well funded, those prizes.
Oh yeah, no, they offered to fly me out there.
Oh,
so.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it was really nice of them.
Did they send you the trophy or?
Yeah. And it broke in the mail. And then one of the guys came over to the U.S. and brought a trophy with him and sent it from the U.S. to me, and that one broke. So I have 2 of them now that are kind of shattered.
Well, as an archaeologist, I must say I'm intrigued by the thought to put it together. But as a German, I'm annoyed by the fact that German quality is lacking these days.
Yeah. Well, it was like a I don't know. It's like some sort of wax plastic cast.
Oh.
And it did not survive shearing forces. So. Broke into about 3 big parts and like 15 little ones.
Well, if they sent it from Germany directly, I can imagine. I was once on a plane and I saw them packing the plane, and there was this crate, which was a dog crate. They threw the poor beast in because he didn't look at what he was grabbing. He just threw the dog crate, and you heard, well. I was like, okay, so yeah. Handle with care, poor dog.
Yeah.
So anyway, so these days, you still do some programming, if I read correctly, and you do graph papers, which is also very important. But mostly, you finance yourself through music projects, right?
Yeah. That's got to be most. I honestly don't know where my money comes from, but it's got to be mostly music, right?
Oh well, we had to look at music you did for movies and music you did for video games, and it's quite the list.
Yeah.
I've been doing this a while now, yeah.
So when did you actually start with that? So.
I think maybe about 12 years ago, I think. I don't exactly recall. I'm not generally a person that looks toward the past of things, but it's been over 10 years now, yeah.
And still going strong.
Yeah, apparently. Up until the robots take over, which is going to be soon.
Yeah, I heard they are investing in sex bots now, so it's only a matter of time.
I don't actually follow that part of it, but I do follow the computers writing music part of it, and they're getting pretty good. It's probably going to be another 6 years before I'm out of a job, but...
you remember this show you did with the program-generated music?
Yeah.
And I actually downloaded the program that they used afterwards, and I had a little try with that one. So at least at the moment, unless you afterwards fix it like you did, it's all awful. So I think
it is awful. Yeah.
I think a little more than 6 years. And
well, I don't know. There's a couple of websites out there right now that are doing pretty good at very limited music, right? They can do like, it's very easy to do like low scale tension music for television shows. The tools that I have available to me are like some of them are just like, all right, push a button. All right, done. Okay, next. It's really quite it's spooky how fast some of these things can be made now.
Is it more spooky or is it mostly also amazing?
Well, that's what I mean by spooky.
Okay.
It's like, oh, well, I didn't think that I could create a 3-minute piece of music in 6 minutes, but apparently I can. So
it's not too bad.
Yeah, no.
My work is done. Yeah, that's spooky and interesting.
I mean, yes, but AIs are getting very developed at the moment. So, did you read this one about the AI that learned chess in like 12 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah. Deep mind. Yeah. Oh my God. I watched those games.
Amazing, right?
That is. I don't know if you're into chess.
Yes, I'm a bit into chess. I'm not a good player, but I like the game.
Yeah. I'm also not a good player. I also love the game. Magnus Carlsen said, I often wondered what it would be like if like aliens came down from another planet and showed us how they played chess. And after watching the new Deep Mind, I think I know what they would look. I think I know what it looks like now. It's spooky good. That, oh man.
Yeah, that was quite the performance. So yeah, I also watched a few of the games, and I just thought, well, they just gave that thing the rules, and now it beats its well, basically ancestor in just who was trained in just a few hours.
Yeah.
And not only at that, right? It was also playing the Japanese version. What's it called? Shoju? Always forget.
Yes. Yep, they did that one as well.
Same thing, just a few hours. So, well, if we get that for music, then the AI will buy you in Computech.com.
Yeah, music is a little harder. Okay, more than a little bit harder than playing chess, because it's an open domain. There's no rules to music, right? If you want people to like your music, it should follow some rules. It should be predictable. It should be with like a little bit of surprising. You know, there's things that it does, but yeah. I forgot where I was going with that. Other than music is significantly harder than chess. But
and sometimes it's you have to carry emotions in the music. So
yeah,
when the machines can that too.
I did cry at a couple of those chess games. There was a move in one of them which was it was playing white and it was queen to h1 and I'm like, oh my god, that is so amazing, and I honestly cried a little bit.
No big deal.
I know it sounds odd that somebody's gonna cry at a chess game, but I'm like, that was just beautiful.
What surprised me was that many of the openings, so there were some that looked like very standard openings. But I think it derived those from the logic because they are very efficient.
Right.
But that alone is something. I mean, it took chess masters ages to figure out what is really efficient, and then you but then some moves really surprised me because they were not what you expected. They were so intuitive, and that really kind of amazed me and scared me at the same time.
Right? You're like, all right, we're done as a species. This is all.
Yeah. GG, well played.
Yeah. Because, you think because like Stockfish and because I used to watch like Stockfish versus Houdini versus Komodo, like all the big engines fighting each other. And Houdini, I thought, did some great stuff, but I mean, Stockfish just killed everybody for the longest time. Until this thing came out, and then it won, 27-0 in its match against the best chess entity that we had.
Yes, and the other ones are all fed with thousands and thousands and thousands of grandmaster games.
Yeah.
And this one just learned chess and thought, well, this must be the right way to do it, right?
Yeah. And
So
indeed it is.
indeed it was, yes. That's,
Queen's Indian on white with Berlin defense on black. That's how you do it, apparently.
it was very, very amazing to watch. And that was not all. I mean, chess, Choju, and Go. And Go is supposedly, I don't play Go, but I heard it has more combinations, more possible combinations than chess.
Yeah.
If you play it on the big board. So I know the rules, but I never played it seriously. And yeah, quite amazing, that little thing. Quite amazing. So coming back to music, which will be dead in a few years because AIs will take over. But so far, so what would you say is what kind of music do you make the most? So I saw you make like commercial jingles, if that's the right term.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever made one of those. What? Commercial jingle?
Like ads for Coke and stuff.
No, I don't do any of that.
Really?
No, I usually do longer form, narrative, emotional based music.
The internet lied to us.
That's entirely possible.
I
mean, a lot of people have taken what I've written for like longer pieces and used it as like brand identification stuff. But I used to take every job because I had no money.
Don't we all?
And doing jingles it doesn't work for me. The amount, like, there's a few things that people don't understand about jingles in that they're really hard to do. I mean, they're really hard for me to do. Some people, it's second nature, you know, and they would have a hard time doing what I do. But the way my brain works, it's so hard to do, and they take so long. And, you know, you quote someone a price on it, and they're like, really? $5,000? I only need 15 seconds. I'm like, yeah, I am aware. I'm going to have to do 110 of these things in order to find one that you want, you know?
Yeah. That reminds me of stories of artist friends of mine that do a little bit of web design, and then, yeah, and we need the logo of our company right there in the middle. Yeah, okay, give it to me. Couldn't you just draw one by hand, just on the fly?
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, I could always do that. They wouldn't like it very much.
Yeah. That's in the price, right? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why there are design artists out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hire them, by the way. They're pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's these days it all used to be very, very expensive, but these days you have sites like Freelancer.com and Fiverr.
Yep.
And they'll just go about, and then you'll get something not very good, not very.
You get what you pay for.
But you get it very cheap, and most of the time, well, it goes well because, well, the standard has gotten a bit lax also.
Well, the thing is, it's not as important as it used to be. You know, in the 1980s, maybe it was useful to have a really recognizable logo, and now it's just you type it into Google.
Yeah.
And like, I don't need to recognize the logo on the street. If it is what I want, Google will find it for me.
Yeah, and if it's in the first few hits.
Yeah, that's where
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we come back to the graph paper, so...
The graph paper will be the topic for unwanted pauses.
Yeah.
So... Okay, so longer pieces. So as said, I saw you did a lot for video games and a lot for movies too. I actually, the movie section, when I went through, I think I watched about 4 or 5 of them, but I just skimmed the list because it was very, very long, very expressive.
Yeah, there's
very, very impressive list.
I think I've done like 3,000 films now.
Yeah.
Like that.
and you're credited for about 2,700 something.
Yeah, that's about right.
And video games also a lot, and I think I played 4 of them.
Okay.
And 2 of them I really love. Kerbal Space Program and
Kerbal Space, absolutely.
That's a very nice game. And Crime and Punishment, Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishment. I loved that one.
Don't remember that one.
Well, let's say you made some music for it. So
yeah, okay.
Speaking of that, so what would interest us is so if someone comes to you and says, well, I have this video game, I need some music for it. So how does it work? So first of all, do you play video games at all yourself?
I don't. I'm bad at playing video games. I love watching other people play video games.
Okay,
but I just don't have the time that it takes to do like a Skyrim or anything really. So I don't. Yeah, I don't play video games. It's like, what was the last video game I actually played? Probably. There's one where you run a prison. I forget what that's called.
Prison Architect?
Prison Architect. I played that one for a while.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And before that, I think is one where you make a theme park, Planet Coaster.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
So I like the sort of like open world,
sandboxy type of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually my kind of game too.
Yeah.
So okay, so but so if someone approaches you and says, well, I have this video game, I need some music for it. Right. How would they go? Would you just have them describe what the game is like, or would you actually have a look at what they have so far and say, well, I could make a piece for this and this scene, or how does that work?
Okay, at very minimum, I need concept art. It's like I need to know what this game is going to look like to make sure that the music is not incongruent with the visuals. And that'll get you close to something that is a harmonious gameplay experience. Ideally, so if it's a very small game, I can get by with just concept art. If it's a bigger sort of game, I really need gameplay footage. I need to see how fast does your character move versus how fast are the threats moving versus like there's like what's the color balance going on, what's the like how often do you have to act in the world. All of these things sort of inform what kind of music is going to make it more enjoyable for people. And sometimes if you have like a really cartoony thing, you need to make music that doesn't sound like a big orchestra. It needs to sound like bleeps and bloops, like old video game stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could still put full orchestral stuff behind that, but it's going to be a very different game and probably not the one the developer is going for. So what'll happen, they'll do that. They'll send me some gameplay footage and some ideas of what they think should go there. Usually I throw them away, but it's nice. It's really nice to have a starting point, because like it's happened a few times where I thought it was like supposed to be comedic, and it ended up being, it's like, nope, this is a horror game. I'm like, nope. I was going to score that completely wrong. Thank you for telling me.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
Okay, now we really want you to do the DayZ final soundtrack.
But yeah,
the comedic version, please.
I'll send over a few tracks, and they'll go, this worked, this didn't, and then After the first iteration, it goes pretty quick. As soon as I'm on the same page as the producer or the music director or whoever I'm working with, then it goes pretty quick.
What do you do with the sorted out music? Do you trash it, or do you?
It usually goes up
it?
on Incompetech, actually.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I started putting a lot of music up there is because I was getting jobs for scoring films, and I would get like a cue rejected. Like, this piece of music doesn't work. Write another one. I'm like, well, it's a good piece of music. You didn't want it for your film. I'll give it to everybody else. And that's how, like, I don't know, in the early days, probably 20% of the music on my website was just things that I was hired to do that were rejected by the people who hired me. But then that worked out great, because then I didn't fear rejection nearly as much.
Yeah.
Because
true.
it's like, well, I will do what I think is best here. Maybe it wasn't what they asked for, but I will do what I think is best. And if they reject it, it just goes on my website and other people can use it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, other people are very grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. Because those were good pieces.
Yes,
definitely.
I mean, I remember when I was looking for something spooky horror-like, and I did a search on your page, and I thought, okay, did he use this one for some horror movie already, or is it because it was, the description was like, it sounded as if it had been used. It was like used for, I don't know, as a loop for blah 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 horror movie blah something, and I thought, well, never mind, it's here, just use it.
Yeah, great. No, chances are, if it's on my site, it was not commissioned by someone. Those are that's where a lot of the rejects end up.
But if I remember Kerbal Space Program, when I first played it, and I actually made it into orbit, which was surprisingly was a real surprise for me. But then I heard the music and I thought, that music, and then I looked through some videos I did, some Machinima videos I did in 2008 or 2009, and it was the same music. So were they actually using music that you already had done and put on Incompetech, or was it just?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Did you?
I have since written about 6 more pieces for them.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely the the beta, the 0.9 release was all things that I had. They just found it on my website and used it.
Well,
did they ask?
It was a really great piece. So they paid the standard license. And...
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they just gave me credit.
I was looking for credit afterwards because I was surprised, because I do that because it's just well, not many people watch my videos, but it's the decent thing to do. Just well, because I mean, you made the music, you should get the honors quite simply.
No, and I mean, a lot of people have found me through Kerbal Space Program, so I have no problems with Kerbal Space Program using my stuff for free. Absolutely none.
Oh, well, yeah, it was quite the surprise hit, I think. It was, but it's a great game. And I'm still very proud that I managed to land on the moon one day.
Wow, that's more than me.
Let's say some Kerbins landed on the moon, but they will never make it back.
Oh, they made it back. No, I was very proud about that one, but you would not want to know how many Kerbals did not make it back, because I'm awful at the game.
I think Jebediah is still in orbit around Kerbin.
No, Jebediah is actually in orbit around the sun and has been for 20 years in my game, so he is quite a long-lived Kerbal. But yeah, no, that's a great game, definitely. And so movies, I saw some Portuguese titles, I saw some Japanese titles. So basically, you get offers from all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some countries that I like working with better than others, but yeah.
Oh, we have a question here for you from our viewers. So
Germany is kind of I don't mean to dump on Germany, but I mean you guys have GEMA, and
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
God.
Oh.
and we all hate it.
You really you guys hate it too?
Oh yeah.
Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I assume that was part
We
of the
don't
culture.
want it. We don't need it, but we
What?
have to.
Is our
Kinda.
our culture of robber knights died like very, very many years ago.
GEMA is rough. The one from Poland is rough, and the one from Spain is rough.
Oh, there
Yeah.
are others.
Oh yes.
It's good to know that there are others.
Yeah, I
Actually,
was-
when you're in Germany, you think no one else would be that stupid, but
Yeah.
No, Poland. Absolutely.
They learned it from us.
Absolutely. Also Austria.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah, well,
that's
okay,
almost the
okay.
same, so that doesn't count.
Well, obviously,
Don't
Austria,
tell
that goes
the
without
Austrians I
saying.
said that.
If something is strict in Germany, you can count it on it that the Austrians copied it,
Oh
or made it,
God.
and then made it even worse. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've been, as said, I've been out of Germany for 13 years, and there's so many things, and GEMA is just one of them. So many things that annoy me because they are so hideously bureaucratic and useless.
Yeah.
And so I'm always glad when I come back. So it's just, well, you listen to the language and it's nice, but then you sit in a tram or in a train and you listen to people and they just talk about bullshit like everywhere else. And so that kind of ruins that feeling. And then you come back to wherever you live at the moment and you think, well, isn't it nice to not understand everyone unless you concentrate and just fall back into the rhythm? I don't know. Yeah, Germany is can be a very challenging country, I think, even for Germans, even if you have grown up
Oh
there.
yeah.
Believe me. So no, it's not part of our culture. It's part
Okay.
of, I don't know what it is.
We
really,
like to suffer.
Yes, perhaps we are masochists, but
Yeah, I know the Austrians love paperwork. They love it.
oh yeah.
My God. The amount of paperwork I have to send to Austria is enormous.
We do it, but we hate it, so...
Oh, you're Austrian?
No, but
Oh.
we Germans have a lot of paperwork as well.
Yeah.
I was at the border before the whole EU thing really kicked in with the passports, etc. So there were still border stations. And so I was at the border, Austria to Germany, and at the border near Passau. And so that guy looked at my passport and said, well, this passport will be invalid in a day.
In a day?
Yeah, the Austrian guy. And so I said, well, that is why I leave your beautiful country today already. I would have stayed longer. And he absolutely didn't like my humor. And so they searched my backpack, they searched me, until finally some guy from the German border police came and said, well, no, let the kids go.
This is not regulation, nicht wahr?
Well, it wasn't Bavarian, you can imagine.
Ah.
Lass die Jungen doch mal gehen. It was very amusing. Not for me, but for them, obviously.
Yeah.
And Austrians are a breed of their own, and the worst actually are in Vienna. But if you go to the countryside, very nice people in Austria. If you are in Vienna, enjoy the art, enjoy the buildings, and then leave. Go, see something else.
Run for the hills.
There's nice people everywhere. I
That's
mean,
true.
let's get this straight.
That's very true.
Governments are not people. I don't think. I have no understanding of my own government, or why we do what we do. But the people are great. So that's all that really matters.
True.
Assuming you can get there and get back.
That's very true.
Those are the airports are the problem.
Oh. Yeah.
Are we covering all the things that you wanted to cover in this interview? I don't know.
Yes, or we have more questions.
This and
for you.
more.
All right, great.
But it's
I will roll with anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually our interviews, we are not trying to profile you. We try to, well, have a nice talk, right? So that's
Sure.
why it's usually a bit back and forth and all that. And I think if people want to profile you, they can go to the net and do that.
Yeah, they absolutely can.
But it's more important to learn, hey, what's Kevin like? And so, well, that's what is important to us in our interviews, at least.
Fair enough.
So perhaps a little different approach to most, but well.
Yeah, otherwise we could just phone it in. This is our list of questions. Go ahead, answer if you like.
That's a lot of that's a lot of the interviews that I do are like that. So
yeah, that's kind of boring, right? So that we try to avoid that.
Well, especially because so many people get so many things wrong. So you do this. I'm like, maybe once, like 8 years ago, but that's not what I do.
Like the jingle thing where
right, like that. And then they'll have like a page of questions on jingles, and I'm like, I've nothing more to add. I'm sorry.
You asked two questions ago.
I mean, I still have all the websites open somewhere, but yeah, I definitely read that somewhere that you were doing jingles, and so
nope.
So I thought, well, perhaps he has a jingle we all know and can hum it or something. And
nope.
Good
I mean,
for
I've sold music to Coca-Cola and GM and Subaru and VW and all. Like I've sold to a lot of people, but I didn't work for them. They found music that worked for them and then just licensed it.
Fair enough.
So your standard license, if I read correctly in Competition.com, so if someone finds it, your standard license is like $30, right?
Yeah.
So even if someone like General Motors comes and says, well, we like this music, you charge $30?
Yes.
Fair enough.
That is exactly what I charge.
Well, I can imagine a lot of people there have your site bookmarked too.
It was pretty interesting. So there was a Martin Scorsese movie called Hugo that came out a few years ago, and they had apparently used my music to temp in a bunch of scenes when in the film, and didn't bother the temp music made it all the way to the end. And so 3 days before the film came out, they called me. And they're like and they sent their A game negotiator. It's like, we can't change this. We are using your music. How cheaply can we get this music? Basically, was their thing.
Cheapos.
And so I was on the phone with them, and I'm like, yeah, you can absolutely use this music. It's $30. And then she was like, what? I'm sorry, what? We can use your music in a major film release, and it's going to cost $30. I'm like, yeah, that's what it costs. That's the cost.
It's there on the website.
Okay, we're gonna pay you. We're just gonna pay you.
And they just paid the $30.
No, well, no, they paid me a lot more than $30.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot more. But the funny thing is, I mean, it's like they're like, they brought in the hardcore negotiator, and I'm like,
$30.
Yep, nope, $30.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and I can imagine the hardcore negotiator. Yes, sweetie, I'll be home early today.
Absolutely, we fixed it.
Best negotiation ever.
Get out the good wine. We can afford it.
Right.
But I read another story about some political campaign that used some piece of you and didn't credit it.
Who now?
That well, perhaps it's another false story, but there was some story that there was a political campaign going on, and
I remember that one because I mean, like you, I don't watch television. And I was over at my mom's house, and there was a local political ad on, and I'm like,
I know that music.
I don't recall them licensing this piece of music from me. And so I called up I called them up, and they're like, oh, no, this is actually you need to call the campaign office. This is the political office. And so I called the campaign office, and I'm like, hey, you use this music of mine? And they're like, yeah, no, we didn't. I'm like, yeah, you did. And like, that's clearly my music that you used in this political ad. And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah. I mean,
at least admit it.
I'm looking for $30 here. That's what I want. Because I went through the database and I checked to see, it's like, did anyone license this? Nobody licensed this. And, or nobody had licensed it in the last, like, 8 months for that particular piece. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of did. You did. And they're like, nope. And then I got a panicked call from an advertising agency like 1,000 miles from here. I don't know what that's 1,600 kilometers. I don't know where your audience is from.
Yeah.
But it was a long way away. And they're like, oh my God, we're so sorry here. We'll make this right. And again, they paid me like an enormous amount of money. Because I could have ruined them.
Funny.
that's fair enough. I mean, well, at least it was for a good cause, right?
Doubt it. It was for politics. How is that a good cause?
Yeah, I was trying to be sarcastic.
I got it. Right, I now know what your sarcasm sounds like.
Yeah. See, that's one thing that always will remain German. Once you get the German sarcasm going,
you never go back.
It translates into all languages, and no one understands you. Yeah, that's one thing you must watch. When the German language is very much about pronunciation of, so you can say the same thing, and it can be very nasty, or it can be just a normal statement or whatever. So it's one interesting thing about German. Anyway, so as I said, you have worked on a lot of projects and movies, video games. Is there any project you really loved working for?
I mean, honestly, I love doing video games. They are hard, but I mean, it's that challenge that is really, really good. I also love doing animations, because sometimes I'll get a movie in, and we'll end up with a scene. We'll like a 8-minute scene with just 2 people talking, and like maybe 2 cameras or maybe 1 camera. And I'm like, now I need to make everyone look good. And I'm like, oh God, the harder the project, the more I really want to do it. So like making 2 people do an 8-minute dialogue seem compelling. Oh, by the way, this is a thing that people should know. Composers can completely rescue bad writing, bad dialogue, bad shooting, bad editing. I don't want to say bad. but you're like less than stellar, right?
Okay.
And so you've got these two people, and it's like, well, nothing's really going on here. I have to make something happen. And those are the things that I really enjoy doing. I don't know. Does that answer the question? Maybe I've forgotten it.
No,
it really did.
In general, I asked if there was one project you especially like, but this is really more interesting even. So, I mean, I can imagine. So, if I would get sent a scene as a composer, and all I see is, well, what's going on there. Let's take Star Wars, for example.
Sure, let's take that.
Star Wars lives through the music also. So if it's just the characters talking to each other, it's awfully boring, like any movie. So you have the background music, which is sometimes a little low orchestra, and that's all the it'll get interesting in just a minute music, and
But the thing is, as a composer, I get to highlight things. I get to like, if people are talking casually about something, I can make it be beautiful, or I can make it confrontational. I can make it anything. Like I was talking before, it's like I got a project that I thought was a horror piece, or that I thought was a comedy, and they're like, nope, this is horror. I'm like, okay then. Yeah. Okay, I will make it horror.
I mean, just imagine in the first in Empire Strikes Back, actually the second Star Wars movie. So the scene, so that's how I imagine it. So you have Han Solo. He is about to be frozen in carbonite, and and Princess Leia says, "I love you," and he says, "I know." So without the music, it would be, yeah, okay, yeah, now go. Get frozen, dude.
It's kind of a jackass there, okay, but with the music.
Oh yeah.
But with music, well, it enhances the situation. Yes, I get what you're meaning. It's very interesting. And
do you get just the theme, or do you get more if you have to do music for a scene?
If I do music, okay, so doing music for a scene is interesting. You can't do. Okay, so the human brain cannot comprehend both dialogue and melody at the same time. It can't do it. We're bad at that. As people, we're terrible at that. So if you're going to put a theme in, you have to put the theme in when people aren't talking.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, watch this. Watch this in films. You'll notice it. It's real.
You can bet we will.
Yeah. I forget, what was the question?
If you do get only the scene, or do you get more context?
No, I get everything. I get the whole film. Usually when I get a film, sometimes like not all of the dialogue is going to be perfect. They'll have to do additional dialogue recording and put that in later. The visual effects are not there. And so sometimes it'll just be like, space battle for like 8 seconds. And you're like, well, I'll make some space battle-y music here, I guess. But the film that I get is, the timing is set.
Okay.
But what you see and what I see are different. And I have to guess at what we're going to see eventually, because the VFX people still have to do all their jobs. The audio mixer still has to do all their jobs to get the new dialogue in.
Does it work? And do you know? Does it work in parallel? So,
yeah.
or is it something? So you first put in the music, they get it with the music piece already added, or do they do the effects at the same time and then it's merged?
Yeah, there is occasional, if you have a late release date, you can do some verging where the VFX people will hear your score. or I get to see what their work is before I write the score. But most of the time we're doing it in parallel and kind of blind.
Do you?
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know what that final VFX shot is going to look like, but I can guess.
Are you curious and watch the movie afterwards when it hits the theaters?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it could have been that you say, I know how the story turns out.
Well, and
at least the music is great.
I get to create. I mean, I get to create how the story comes out.
Okay.
And the VFX people get to. They also get to turn and see how the story comes out. So, I'm sure the VFX people are going to be, because they don't. Most of I can't imagine when the VFX people would care about the score.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do their work. It's like, we've got 110 shots in this film, and we're gonna do them to what we. They don't care about the score. So I just hope to God that my that my score fits with their action.
So were there any movies or games lately where you would say, well, let's say you watched someone playing the game, or like Skyrim, for example, or went to the cinema and watched a movie. Well, were there any where you would say, well, I could have done that much better, or wow, this is really impressive?
Both. Oh my God. I do that all the time. That's the entirety of my life. You've just described my life. Like when I go to a movie and I'm like, God damn it. If you would have just hit some of the comedic beats here, this would have been amazing. But I know what those composers get. They don't necessarily get the fully finished thing,
And have you ever watched a movie where you were a part of and thought afterwards, oh, I screwed that up?
Honestly, no.
Well, it's very good to have an ego.
I think I hit him. Well, but no. Here's the difference.
I do it right.
It's like when I get a scene, I will score the scene.
Yeah.
And then the director will come back and say, either, yes, that was great, or in the best case scenario, oh my God, you saved that scene. Thank you very much. And those are great. But sometimes I'm on iteration 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the film, I'm like, nah, iteration 2 would have been better. That would totally would have been better.
But then it's not your fault, right?
It's not, no, because they specifically asked for something else.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's my job is to make things better. But really my job is to get paid by the person.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's
my job is to make one person happy, and that is the person who writes me the check.
Fair
enough. So, but still, was there any movie where you went in lately, or any video game you watched and said, "Wow, yeah, that's an awesome music in the background or whatever"?
Oh, almost all of them. Everything that's put out today is really good. Really good. All of, well, I'm not going to say all of your video games. all of your high budget video games, they're really good. The music is very appropriate. It's because if it wasn't, no one would talk about it. The games that don't work are the ones that haven't worked, right? And I don't know how many, okay, so here, confession time. Every time I start playing a video game, the number one thing I do, even with games that I have scored, and like they'll send me the download, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll play this for a bit. The first thing I do is open up the settings and turn off the music. I hate music in video games. I just hate it. I shouldn't be telling anybody this.
No, it's fair enough.
Why do you hate music in video games?
Yeah, explain.
Because I have limited capacity. I cannot listen to music passively. If there's music in the background, it will derail me from whatever I am doing, because it's the only thing I listen to now. It is the essence of what I'm in this space, and if I can just stand there and listen to the music, that's great. However, in most video games, you can't just stand there and listen to metal music because people are shooting you.
Someone's been playing Doom.
Yes.
A notable exception, horror games, where you can just stand there and just feel more and more oppressed, you know?
Unless they are multiplayer and someone kills you.
Yes.
Which, of course, means you can lie around a bit more. Okay, that's really.
But I mean, this
that's really interesting.
Yeah. So like, back when I was in college, my brain broke multiple times because all you do is you do analysis, and you do like when you're learning music, when you're in music school, you learn how to do analysis. And so now when I go to a store and walk around and I need to buy a shirt or something, I'm just standing there listening to the music and analyzing it. And now I'm not buying a shirt anymore.
You must hate elevators.
Have you ever been into an elevator where they play music?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Really? That
Yes.
is not common here.
Hopefully not, but
there's no music in elevators anymore.
How about supermarkets?
Supermarkets, they play pop music.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I go to a supermarket, I have my iPhone with people talking. I have podcasts, so I don't actually listen to their music.
Okay.
I don't. Would I buy food if I could listen to music in their store? If I actually listened to their music, would I actually buy food? Probably. I would probably still buy food. But it's so disrupting to me. Like, I cannot not analyze music. Whenever I listen to music, I will be like, oh, okay, that's a 2/4/1 cadence or 2/5/1 cadence, or it's like I do, and I cannot casually listen to music. I never have been able to.
I can I can relate to that. So I mean, I was meant in a different way, but when I look, for example, at stones on a country path, and then I suddenly realize, oh, you know what? That's actually the foundation of this is a Roman road, and I'll get. And then people look strangely at me because I kneel down and examine the stone, and or same with clay products. So, yeah, okay, this terracotta is actually from
right.
And that's just what happens because my mind was trained to do that, to look at it like that. Or worst of course is if I go to an actual archaeological site or some sites like the Colosseum, and I see about 20% of this is still original and the rest is recreated, and it was recreated in the 50s. And you get all this information in your brain and you cannot enjoy it anymore. And everyone around you is like, woo, 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 this is so great. We are here. We are at this arena. And you say, and you think, yes. And if you walk around this, you will see that they were using they were using very modern construction stuff to hold all this together. And well, so a lot of the magic fades for you, but everyone around you is like, yeah. So
right.
At least I can enjoy it how it is.
Most people can. But now I want to talk about the Roman use of concrete.
If you want to see how they really raped stuff, you must go to Libya, actually, because there were large Greek and Roman colonies in Libya.
Okay.
And during the shortly before the Second World War, and partly before that, so the Italians had this idea. Well, we must show we are great again, like your president would say. Italia is great again. And so what they did, Libya was a colony of the Italians back then. So what they did is they tried to very quickly, in a very, I would even call it in a rapey way, get all those monuments back up, get all those buildings back up. And so, yes, they used a lot of concrete. And so you have sorry, still. You have
I hoped that I would trigger you to like go into something deep. I was not disappointed. Keep going.
Yes, but I mean, basically, you look at an arena and it looks superb from one point of view, and then you go around and you'll see a lot of fences preventing you from going around. And on the other side, you see, well, it's ugly gray concrete, and so that's first of all very bad. Very bad, of course, for the monument itself. It never looked that way in the original, and then it prevents future archaeologists from continuing to research the site, because usually you do not dig up a whole site, because the philosophy in archaeology is, future archaeologists will have better technology and can do it better. So we will not dig everything up. We will just, take this part, do our research, put a few flags where we know that there's other stuff, but in 50 years, they'll be able to preserve this much, much better. And so that's the philosophy in archaeology. And so yes, you triggered me, but there's absolutely nothing wrong about that.
I'm going deeper now because I have another question.
Okay, ask away.
It has apparently recently been found out that and maybe this is way out of your knowledge, in the Great Pyramid of Giza, there is a big hole that nobody's ever been into. Right? We've discovered that there is a gap. There's an air gap in the Great Pyramid. Are you aware of this?
I'm not an Egyptologist. I follow those. So I'm trained in Roman, Greek, and Celtic archaeology, which is called prehistoric archaeology. So any culture that doesn't have written word.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, but I do follow. I do follow the news on that. I remember that they years ago, at least a decade ago or so, and they did some crazy digging there, which was mostly show, I would say, to make the site more attractive again. Because I was at the pyramids, and
seriously,
yes, and if you ever were there, you would understand that it's a very commercialized thing now. So
I would imagine
laser shows going on all the time. And you will also notice that you always in documentaries, etc., that show modern shots of the pyramids, they'll always be from a certain point of view, and the reason is because the city of Cairo encroached so close, and it's basically they are half surrounded by the city, and
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
you do not make shots from that side, from the other side, because no one wants to see, well, these pyramids are basically like a stone's throw from the ugly city, so where you can die of smog, which is true. So yeah, it's very interesting, but I do not know about a hole in the. I know they did some opening of some unknown tomb or whatever, and then they found out, and they sent a robot through, like the ones they use on Mars, just a little, well, downscaled, and
Yeah.
they found an empty chamber, and but they made like a 16-hour opera out of that, and yeah, it was very interesting, and I watched it all, but yeah, it's I don't know. With modern technology at hand, I think we can pretty much say what is there and what is not there. But I might be totally wrong because I said I'm not an Egyptologist, and perhaps they they found something totally new that we never saw before.
Well, yeah, the thing that's making news is that they're thinking of boring a hole because like it's completely unknown. They just assume there's less rock there. That's all they know. And so they think there's a hole, so they're gonna bore like a 4 centimeter hole into the thing, and then I guess there's a bunch of French archaeologists who are gonna like make like a blimp, like a dirigible that they can like shove through this hole and then like fly around inside of it. You haven't heard of this? You haven't heard of this?
No, I'm unaware of that one. Sorry.
Oh, fair enough. I
No,
live in my own little world. That's okay.
no. It's more I that I live in my own little world, and I'm still very interested. You see, archaeology is a very wide field, and people think it's like Indiana Jones, which is not the case, or it's just bookish study, which is also not the case. So what I'm mostly interested in is stuff like, for example, geoarchaeology, which focuses on figuring out, for example, what did our ancestors eat? How did the normal, well, the peasants live? How did the people in that country live? Was there trade between that country and that country? So we know, for example, for sure that of course there was trade between what is now Sweden and the um, and the city of Byzance, which is now Istanbul, because we found Greek coins minted in Byzance in graves in Sweden, because there were people who worked for the Varangian Guard and stuff like that. But the whole system. So we tend to think of humanity being like very localized, but back then people really traveled a lot, and that's very, at least Europeans and Middle East people did, and that's a factor we often forget, and so that's super interesting for me.
I have questions. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I know you're here. I know you're here to interview me, but I have questions because
interview hijacked.
I will not
interview hijack because I want to go into this.
I will certainly not delete our connection on Twitter later, and if you have questions to archaeology, anytime, if I can answer them.
Oh, because I had assumed that like So if you're going back like more than like 3,000, 4,000, you're going back a ways, right? How many years? Like we're talking a lot of years ago. I thought that most people had there was not a lot of interchange. Like most people married their first cousins or similar, and that there wasn't a lot of
You would think that if you look at some cities or villages.
you would think that, I mean if
My
you look at the
father is my
genetics,
uncle.
yeah, uncle, dad.
Yeah.
And how I don't even know what question to ask.
No, there really were a lot of trade routes, a lot of movement, and yes, of course, if you were
but how? Yeah,
but,
genetically intermarrying. How often? Is that even a thing that you study? Is that a thing that's a thing? I don't even know.
yes, yeah, it's a sidetracked into anthropology, where they examine, for example, they look for defects that could be the result of incest, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's actually not that common. It's and then so one would assume, for example, the later pharaohs, they were all, of course, descendants of the diadochs that were sent by that were set in as pharaohs by Alexander the Great, and so they used to marry inside their own family and inside their own culture. But I mean, a family can be a very large thing, and so yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, some married their sisters, and some said, like in Game of Thrones, yes, it's to keep our blood pure, which of course was the wrong idea. But then again, you must think that incest actually, the chance of incest is very low in the first generation. It sets in if you interbreed 2 or 3 generations. But well, if you're interested in that stuff, of course, you can always ask me, and I will try to find some scientific data and abuse me if that's something that
I don't want the scientific data. I just want the stories. I just want to know what the hell what the hell was going on.
Yeah, but
that's all I want to know.
Some of the stuff, I must admit, I must also read up again on, so I can give you a good and honest review. But you can always ask me if something hits you. Just send me an email or send me a tweet or a private message on Twitter, and I'll always
that's not just
be
for
happy
me, everybody. That's for everyone listening.
That's for everyone listening.
Everyone in the world. If anyone has a question about things that happened in the past.
Yeah, but then, of course, if it gets too much, then you'll have to pay me for it. Okay.
But since we know the lower end is $30, so
well, Archaeology Fiverr, man.
Yeah.
No, we will not do that.
You're not gonna publish a paper for $5? Come on.
No, I will not publish an archaeology paper for $5 because it's a lot of work. Speaking of a lot of work, there's another thing we really want to know, and that's Wheels of Doom. I love
Wheels of Doom.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
It must come back.
You know what?
When will it be back? We do not want to hear any excuses. We'll help you with any OBS stuff you have, but we want Wheels of Doom back.
You can't spell OBS without BS, and that's on purpose.
Yes.
I hate you guys.
I know.
You're welcome.
I hate you guys so much.
Wheel of Doom.
I really enjoyed doing that. I mean, I really enjoyed doing that, and I have to find out. I have to find another technological solution. If there is somebody who could show up and say, here, we will set up a computer and it will work. And you can do this. And then also do all the normal things that you need to do in the world to live. I will do that again. I really should do that again.
You need
You
your own
must
IT
do that
department.
again.
I had such a good time doing that.
Yes,
And we
all
had a
loved
great
it.
time watching it.
Really, it was sometimes 3 a.m. in the morning for me. And I was like, oh, okay, finally you can go to bed. Oh, what's going on what? Kevin is
So
doing another Wheel of Doom.
We have to. Okay, so Wheels of Doom. What is this? I wrote a program because I get requests from people all the time to put together things that should not happen. This happens in film. This happens in video games. This happens in podcasts. This happens in everything that I get. We need to fuse random thing A with random thing B with random thing C, make it useful. And I was like, that's my life. And so I wrote a program that gave me like all of the worst clients I've ever had. Like all of the stupidest things that you could imagine, and it just puts them together randomly, and I would go and I would do it like I was working on a project. And sometimes they're great. Sometimes they're like, oh, we want a peppy, upbeat, 8-bit thing in a major key. So I've got like a bunch of variables, and I'm like, great, I can do that, no problem. And then sometimes I would get, it's like, we need something that kind of sounds like a horse and is loving. I'm like, what the fuck?
Is that?
Can we? I don't know how. Can I swear on your show?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Absolutely.
All right, what the ever-loving fuck? All right. I will give it my best. And so the Wheels of Doom is like the worst clients in the world, but I still try to make it through. And it was fun and it was great. And man,
then OBS happened.
Man, so here's one of the funny things. Like whenever I do like a Skype interview with people or something like that, the worst people to deal with are composers, because our computers are so fucked up. Like Skype works great if you have a laptop and then you use the built-in camera and you use the built-in microphone and it works fine. It's fine.
That's
my
what you
computer,
say. I wouldn't say it works fine.
It's fine. You can see someone, you can talk to someone, the quality may not be there.
Sometimes you can hear and see someone.
Sometimes
yeah, okay.
You can hear them. Yeah. But it's one button go.
Yeah.
When you start getting into these things with the complicated setups, like I have a very hard time talking to other composers.
Okay.
Just because it's like our audio interfaces and our main computers are complicated. You know, like I have, how many things do I have hooked up to this computer? Like, and this isn't even crazy. It's like 4 things hooked up, and it's not even bad. And it's just OBS is, if that's all I did, if all I did was Wheels of Doom, I could do it all the time. That's not what I get paid for.
Unfortunately.
Like I got it set up a couple of times, and man, it takes hours to get out of and into this thing. So I think, I don't know, maybe I just have to have, like, I have another computer which is almost as capable as my main computer, and I could probably set that up and I could probably do that. And I don't want to disappoint the fans.
Oh, believe me, everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Even when you left, sometimes there was a whole discussion afterwards still in the chat. It was very, very amusing.
What are you talking about?
Bits of Doom.
But what? There were people talking about me after I stopped?
Not
yeah.
about you, about the show. Yes, of course.
What?
Have you ever watched
What are they
this
saying?
chat after you stopped streaming?
Yeah.
They're funny.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And mostly it was very, very positive too. So, and
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I would love to say right now, thank all of the people. I want to thank all of my fans who are remarkable. Like, like I can post something to YouTube and get, I don't know, 99% positives off of it. And I'm really happy about that. Because a lot of channels work on what do you call it? When people are fighting each other. What's his
Drama.
words for this? Drama. Yeah, there. Thank you. God damn it. You'd think I would know English. And I'm really happy that there's no drama anywhere in my life online.
that's rare.
Yeah,
it
very
really
rare.
is. And there's a few channels out there that are like that. But yeah, I'm really grateful to the people who like me, who are not jerks. Honestly, having fans that are not jerks is really cool.
Yes, and your work, I mean, your work is also very constructive. So you see, if you have like a channel that talks about politics, then of course you will always have someone who disagrees.
Yeah.
And so that would be something I would never be interested in. But gaming, for example, can be a very aggressive topic on Twitter. And sometimes when I look at my Twitter feed, I'm so happy that I'm also talking to other people. Like I'm a big fan of the outdoors and well, not only camping, but well, what is now called bushcraft, and well, really,
wait. Bushcraft?
yeah, bushcraft. It's like it actually sounds like you would be in the Australian outback, but really
It does.
yes, but the bush comes from the Netherlands word of bos, which means forest. So it's more like, you know, how to, for example, make a fire with a bow drill, and or make a fire with just a stick, or um,
Well,
what
clearly,
what
you know.
what plants you can eat, what roots you can eat, what hunting, all that stuff. So much knowledge, how to preserve food, how they did that in the past, and that's something that really, really interests me, and so it's something that I do a lot. So I really go out there and try it. I'm not just interested in reading about it or watching a video about it, and so in that community, dialogue is very positive because you exchange ideas and everyone has the same goal, basically, right? So unless you have some aggressive YouTubers who just want to make money with it, and then it gets different. It gets annoying because they are looking for fame and they point out others. Oh, what he did was shit. No, it wasn't shit. He tried, and perhaps then there's a better way to do it. So but usually that's one community I really like, and I really like to and enjoy talking to because it's constructive, and politics at the moment, at least, definitely is not constructive, and
No.
and gaming sometimes in the last few years gets dragged into politics, and that's also not constructive then. And so, well,
Can we talk
how I see it.
Can we talk a little bit about one of my favorite YouTube channels, Primitive Technologies?
Absolutely.
Do you know this one?
Yes, I think I know it.
Yeah, he's I think he's in Australia.
Is it the guy who does the?
There's no voice in any of his things, and he does like building like making pots or
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that guy.
And shelters and exits
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yes, I know him.
Yeah. I'm excited about that guy.
Yes, very good channel, and I tried a lot of the stuff that he shows. And
have you made a fire? Have you made a fire like that?
Yes, but I learned that long ago from my grandfathers, and well, my whole family was into bushcraft before it was called bushcraft, of course, and so and they thought it
that is not a word in English that I know of.
So it is. Yeah, just look on YouTube later on, and you'll find a lot of channels, bushcraft channels that are in English, and so they found it very important that I learn things like making a fire or how you can actually make acorns edible or certain kinds of berries that are usually poisonous, or what you can do with burning nettle and all that stuff. So and mushrooms, and so all that stuff they taught me, not because they forced me, but because they knew I was also interested in it, and I was very interested in that, and I'm very, very grateful that I took all that, because most of my family died very young. And so, yeah, I'm now carrying that knowledge in me, and well, try to pass it on sometimes if I can.
What? How to make fire? You need to pass that on to someone.
Yeah, how to do it without a lighter, without.
Do you think we'll ever get to the point? Do you think that society can collapse?
No, but I think there's one thing I realized.
Didn't we talk about that the AIs will take over?
The AIs are going to take over, and
have you watched Terminator? Or
they will
no,
make,
no, I
don't.
For us, and I don't think society will collapse in that way. So my motivation is a different one, and that is some of my friends know, but for the past, not last year, but 8 years before, a friend of mine and I, who both received that kind of training, we were doing something for the church, and we actually sponsored by the church and kept very low, but we were training homeless people better ways to get over the winter. So so that's something where you can directly apply that knowledge. So I
wait, I have a question.
Of course.
Is the biggest problem how to make a fire if you're homeless? That doesn't seem to me to be a problem.
No, but making a fire was also just one example of many things, of course. And we could talk about bushcraft all day, but
I have some time.
Perhaps in private and different time, because not all people are here to hear about bushcraft, I guess. But yes, there are many things you can learn from our ancestors, and much knowledge you can rediscover. So that's one thing that motivates me. But there's another thing, and that is whenever I see people actually engaging in that stuff. So they have a office job usually, right? So
yeah,
get up 8 a.m., go home 5 p.m. and watch television, etc. And then you get those people for like a week or so, and go out with them and do stuff. And that's really it kind of it really turns them into different people, because suddenly you see that their eyes light up, and they have all these ideas, and they become makers. So they do things instead of just I do this for the money, and and then I watch Netflix. They
Yeah.
they really get into it, and they really do something, and yeah, and then this light in the eyes of people is my main motivation, so to show them. And so I told Trucker here this. So about a year or two ago, there was one of the homeless, and
Sorry.
he contacted me, and and I thought, well, yeah, okay. What he said he was around. He was basically around the corner here in Belgium, and I thought, well, okay. This guy, perhaps he wants a few free beer or whatever. But of course, I met him, and no, he had found a new job. He had actually a fiance now, and he had started life again. And he came to thank me and said, "Well, it's not that all the knowledge that you and your partner taught us were applicable in all situations, but you know, it was something that woke me up, that showed me that I can do things still, and
Yeah.
that was one of the most happy days in my life, I must say. It
Ja.
was very, very impressive.
Ja, genau.
Genau.
It's the only German I know, man.
I
You knew
can teach
Danke
you.
a few minutes ago.
Danke
Yes.
and ja, genau. Ja, genau.
We can teach you more German. It's also no problem. We can teach you all the bad words. We know them all.
I don't need those. I have all the bad words from Russian, and by the way, they're way better than you.
In bad
Ru-
words?
Russians swear better than anyone.
Challenge
I would
accepted.
I would imagine they do.
Oh, they're good. I do have to. We talked about this earlier. I do have to take a break right now, and
Yes.
I'll be back in a couple minutes. But
Yeah, sure.
keep it rolling.
We will. Thanks.
All right.
Then we can take the opportunity and gather a couple of questions from our audience. I've got one already.
If you got any questions, just post them in the chat.
Yeah, we will.
We cannot interrupt all the time for questions, but we will collect them and see if we can get them answered.
Exactly. Because as you can hear, we have a really nice flow going, and we don't want to break it with a couple of questions. So bear with that. And we've got
a very, very nice and enthusiastic guest.
Yeah, and we've gathered a ton of questions beforehand from us, so we want to get them answered as well. So don't worry, we will get around to yours, but it can take a while. I love it.
Yes, that's a great interview. I'm very happy.
Yeah, definitely.
So people, definitely don't be shy. Post your questions.
And if your English isn't really that good, but you do understand him, but your English isn't that good to ask a question, feel free to post it in German as well. We will translate it.
Yep.
You asked to Meg?
Did you? Oh yeah, something about Squire Inc. or something.
I remember reading something about GNU, but that was hours ago. I have to dig them up before. Or you ask him again. That would be nice.
Take the chance now, because right now we can actually we get the chance to really look at your questions.
He's coming back.
I'm not yet back. I will be back momentarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Just heard his steps.
His microphone is amazing, I think.
Yeah, we should definitely ask him what he's using.
Oh yeah, and what software? And that would also be interesting.
I mean, I guess I have to sell my house to afford that microphone, but
I'm sort of back. This microphone is honestly pretty cheap. It's called a Heil PR40. I don't normally use this one for interviews. I normally use an SM58, which is a really cheap microphone. But man, is it good! I mean, it's been
look
good
it up
forever. The SM58 for voice is spectacular.
Now he did a jingle. No. Okay, yeah, I definitely need. I'm looking for a microphone, so I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. So the one that I'm talking on now is called a Heil PR40. It's like, I don't know, $300, $400, something like that. It's not bad. It's in the realm of microphones where you can lay down like thousands of dollars. This one is really good.
Okay, we have a question from our viewers. So
great.
If you like coding, did you try Scribbletune?
Scribbletune, don't know it. Never heard of it.
Okay.
That answers that. And another one.
I mean, throwing back, like you had mentioned, going in the early days, people used Perl a lot.
Yes.
I still use Perl. I use Perl. The regular expressions are so useful.
I do still use Perl too, because I'm just so I can still remember it. But these days, mostly when I have something quick to script or something, then I use Ruby.
Yeah.
Because it's
I'm on JavaScript for most everything now. So
yeah, JavaScript too, but for different stuff. So integrated into Ruby, I use JavaScript, of course, but
right.
But Ruby is very elegant, very well. Okay, most people don't call it elegant, but it's very efficient.
Maybe we would call it elegant.
Oh,
maybe we would. That's a funny thing, because that's how
I got that one.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't really mean to make fun of your pronunciation. That's not.
No, it's good. It's good. I've already recorded it in my mind, so it's elegant.
Okay. Elegant. You know what? I love it. Like, so last year I went to Croatia. Met with a composer out there. Really, a pretty good composer. He's since moved to England, but like his pronunciation of things is lovely. Like absolutely lovely. Like we have a weed here called a dandelion.
Mm-hmm.
There he pronounced it dandelion. I'm like, well, that is obviously correct. You are right. Dandelion is the way better way to pronounce that.
See, but dandelion I knew, but
dandelion. That's how they pronounce it there. Or what was the other, like? So it's like
we pronounce it Gänseblümchen. So.
Now you broke him.
I don't understand it. What did you say?
I said we pronounce it Gänseblümchen.
Gänseblümchen?
Yeah, Gänseblümchen. That's dandelion in German.
Yeah, but there's like so in English we have a word called ambiguity, meaning something that's like not one thing and not the other thing. It could be either. It's a little fuzzy. The best pronunciation I've heard of that, ambiguities. There's a lot of ambiguities in this. It's like ambiguity. You know what? No, I'm not even going to correct you because that's the way better way to do it. Ambiguities. Of course, there are ambiguities.
You do you, buddy. You do you.
Yeah.
I spent the last at least 6 years working with a lot of Indian co-workers in global telephone conferences. That can be a nightmare. And you can sometimes only guess what they are saying. So
right.
But this guessing game, of course, keeps you on track because you will always have to be attentive. What was he talking about?
Oh, you wait for the written protocol.
Yeah. Back when I was working as a web developer, I had a friend of mine. His name is Pete. Shout out to Pete. He now works for, I think he works for Morgan Stanley now. His job, mostly English to English translation.
Wait, what?
English to English. You get he'll be in a meeting with 10 people, and some of them are from India, and some of them are from the US, and some from England, and some from Germany, and some from Italy or whatever. And they are all speaking English, but they can't understand each other. Because the accents are so different. But he's like the English to English translator guy.
Actually, I must say the only people I ever had really problems understanding in global conferences was the French. They can sometimes be very, very hard to understand because they believe that it's enough to learn English to level and that they know basic vocabulary.
Yeah.
And they can fill in Pete. Everything else with French.
Pete will figure all of this out. He will do it. He's so good.
And one Indian guy who really didn't speak English, but he thought he spoke English. I'm still unsure what language he spoke, but it was made by the devil, and so.
This is why you need an English to English translator.
Hire Pete.
Okay. So I'll forward Pete's credentials to my former employer.
Oh my God, yeah. He's really good at
it. They probably could need him, yeah. But my actual boss was a real Englishman, and he had this real English, and so I told him when I started to work for him, I told him, well, my English is pretty good, but correct me whenever you can, so I don't take dandelion or
yes,
or elegant.
Mm-hmm.
It's just adding to the library. Makes me more smart, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So, at least makes me sound more smart. Okay, but and also Mac, I don't know. Perhaps you should send Kevin that on Twitter. He said ScribbleTune is an awesome Node.js library to code music. You should definitely try it. So send it to him via Twitter. So you can
absolutely.
The handle is on the screen, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yep.
If you get pesky Twitter messages after this podcast, it's all our fault.
It's not your fault, trust me.
You had such a nice community, and then you came to our podcast.
And we ruined it. We're Germans, we ruin everything. And we add paperwork.
Okay, while we go to the hateful stuff, so I read another article, and that's something I really experienced myself, and that is YouTube copyright versus Creative Commons license. So you must get trillions of emails every day stating that someone says that's actually their music.
I've actually changed the way that I published because I used to publish every time I came up with a tune, I would throw it out there and people would use it or people would not use it. But what was happening more often than I want to happen is I would publish a piece of music and to YouTube, and then someone would take my music, register it as their music, and start doing takedowns on people who have used this music. I'm like,
yes, me for example.
oh, wait, you got a takedown? You got to notice that my music.
Several for several pieces. Yes.
Oh, I hope that isn't happening anymore. Is it still happening?
Yes, but lately I went to your competition, so to speak. No, for example, just a short while ago, I took a song actually from ccmix.org,
Okay.
and it was a very beautiful song that exactly fit what the video I had in mind, and so a few like a month later or so. I got a copyright strike on that one, and obviously, so I looked at the piece that they said was was theirs, and what they did, they didn't give credit to
Okay.
they didn't give credit to the actual artists, and all he had done was put awful stuff into this very beautiful song. So it was a nice song sung by a very at least talented lady, and then remixed by another guy, and he put it on Creative Commons 3.0,
Yeah.
and was also open for commercial use, right? So like
Yeah.
you're in the same license you use, and what he did was like he put in the occasional yeah, you know,
Oh yeah, you sent me that
bro,
one.
bro,
Oh yeah, that
and
was horrible.
it
I
was
know
awful.
exactly what you're talking about.
It was
Exactly what you're
awful,
talking
but
about.
I mean, okay, what could I do? Okay, so I wrote them, no, this the original actually is, you can find it here. I've credited it as I always do, etc. And it, yeah, of course they rejected that. And I thought, okay, is it really worth the trouble to go to the next level? And I thought, no, fuck it. I mean, you have gotten all the views already, and
And that's so sad.
and
Yes.
that's one example, but there's another one which is more extreme, because
Oh shit.
I did some videos where I did a little gameplay in StarCraft, not StarCraft. What's
Starbound.
it? Starbound, right? And you know what they
I know the
found?
story.
That the chirping of the birds in the background was copyrighted by someone. And I was like, what? The chirping of the birds?
Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, so once again, and so when that happened, which was earlier than the newest one, so I don't care that much. I said I'll never mark any of my videos for ads again. They will just not have any ads. So and I tell my viewers from time to time, if you see any ads on my videos, they're not for me. They're for some asshole who grabbed stuff
Right.
which is not theirs, and complain to them. Don't complain to me.
And by the way, I'm now the guy they complain to. Like when my music gets used and like somebody uses it and YouTube comes and with a copyright hit against it somehow, I will absolutely go to bat for you. That is the thing that I will do. Like I've got lawyers, I've got money. I will absolutely fight for you. What does this give me? I don't know. I like it costs me money every time I do this, but I do it for everyone who asks. And
see, I was just too polite to do that, because you remember years and years ago, you probably do not remember me from then, but
no.
I made a donation to you and said, here, buy anything, and so I found out you were you were fond of Fanny Branca, at least back then. I still have the emails somewhere.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, the first copyright strike happened, and
Okay.
I actually went a step further, and YouTube said, "Well, we need the signature of the artist who actually did it, blah blah blah." And I thought,
Yep.
"No, you don't want to bother the guy with that."
No, I literally do that every day. Go ahead. You're not gonna hurt me.
It's a shame that you have to do it.
It really is. But but I mean, honestly, that's where I've set myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've set myself as the guy you can go to and be like 100% okay. So far, everything that I've ever been involved in, I've won. Everything.
Awesome.
And yes, it's expensive for me, but trust me, it's fine. If you're using my music and somebody else claims it, I will fly to Belgium.
And he will not only fly to Belgium, he will also fly to Takatuka land and Japan and Russia and so on. The whole world. Did you just hear it?
Russia is not salvageable. It's
Okay.
not salvageable.
You'll fly anywhere but
stuff.
Russia.
I will absolutely fly to Russia because I actually know a bit of the language, but
but not the good part.
Not the good what? I know the swearing part. That's all.
Yeah, okay. That should keep you around.
Yeah, peace.
That should tell us something about past interactions.
Yeah, no, I've never had a problem in Russia.
I must admit that I've never been to Russia.
Not me also.
So that's why you never had. But I had many friends at university who were Russians, and they can drink vodka, and they can teach you how you can drink a lot of vodka too. Which basically consists of eating very fatty food before.
I have now 2 stories, but I will tell you the one. So I had a friend who is from Krasnoyarsk, which is in Siberia in Russia, and he had his birthday party at my house. So in the U.S., if you're from Ukraine or if you're from Russia, you stick together. If you're in Russia, Ukrainians are not okay. If you're in Ukraine, Russians are not okay. But if you're in the U.S., it's like, they share a lot of cultural. And so we had a toast. We all poured glasses of vodka, and cheers, happy birthday. And I took a sip of vodka, and everyone else's vodka was gone.
Of course, take it in shots.
This is, I mean, this is like 100, 150 mil, and like next, I'm like, really? Is this okay?
You're not supposed to inhale it. You're supposed to drink it.
No, they drink like people from Wisconsin. We drink a lot in Wisconsin, by the way. More than any other state, I think. But the Russians outdid even me, and I'm like, wow, that's some craziness. I don't know. Was that an interesting story?
Oh yeah, it was.
God damn it!
At least for me.
I'm not finished writing down Wisconsin visit.
Wisconsin, yeah. Oh, if you want to drink, this is the way to do it on the cheap.
Okay, so if I want to wear flowers in my hair, I go to San Francisco. But if I want to drink, I go to Wisconsin.
Yes.
Choice is easy, really.
There's not much to look at here. And I will catch shit from all the people from Wisconsin who are like, it's beautiful. It's like, nah, is it?
After a couple of shots, it is.
That's why we drink so much, honestly.
Wisconsin. I'm trying to place it.
It's like it's in the middle on the top. It's by all the
yeah,
lakes.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I think I got it mentally.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. Do you think YouTube will ever change their content ID identifiers?
YouTube is by far the best for content ID. Like absolutely the best. Because Facebook is trying to make a play in this realm, and it's infuriating. Like so I had problems with people claiming my music on YouTube again and again and again and again. Like during a week I would send out, I don't know, 100 emails maybe a week at its worst. Trying to get things fixed, and I got a meeting with some very high level YouTube people. And now my music is on a special whitelist where I publish it to this, and no one ever can claim it as their own.
Awesome.
That's actually awesome.
Been amazing. And everyone complains about YouTube, but my God, they are the best.
That's actually the first time I hear from this.
Yes,
from this whitelist.
Yeah,
same here. No, I'm the only one on it.
But if they can do it for you, they should be able to do it for other people.
Yeah.
Right, and I brought along a couple of other composers into my whitelist. YouTube doesn't know about it, but don't tell them.
Oh, we won't.
You just did, but they never
listen. They never watch our
honestly,
videos.
They're not. No, they have other things to do. They like what YouTube is doing is probably the most legally complicated thing that has ever been done in the history of humanity. It's harder than doing, like, what they're doing is harder than like nuclear arms treaties.
Probably, yeah.
It really is. And they're doing a bang up job of it. And all you have to do is look to Facebook. And like what they're doing is craptacular. It's bad. The Facebook video content ID is bad. And so basically Facebook is about 8 years behind YouTube legally on this stuff. Because I'm in the middle of all of it still.
Yeah, and you have to.
Yeah. But yeah, no, YouTube is I mean, they are trying. They've got great people working on it. Their legal teams are great. They're really trying really, really hard. And it's almost impossible what they're doing, but they're still doing it, and doing it well. And I just gotta give them I gotta give them like
credit.
Yeah, absolutely, huge credit.
I mean, wouldn't the logical step be for Facebook and YouTube, etc., to join forces and resources on that one, and just use like a commonly shared database where they put, well, like stuff like yours, or like, for example, if there was an option in the content ID that says, well, I want this to be available to anyone, and I do not want to get their whatever their ad shares, or wouldn't that be the logical step, because they would be wasting less resources on legal stuff, etc.
So if you're YouTube and you were the one who made all of these good legal things, are you going to share that with somebody else for free?
No, I would ask for a license fee of $30.
Absolutely. Oh man, I mean,
Okay,
it's a legal minefield. I mean, it's
I mean, what
so
if
hard.
they don't do it? So if they don't do it, Facebook doesn't do it. But there
Yeah.
was something like an initiative from the outside that says, well, yes, you can access this database. We'll give you an API, and you can use it. But these are all artists that want their work to be freely usable. Wouldn't that be an option?
That
And
would be amazing.
so
It's not gonna happen.
no, it's not. I mean, a lot of amazing.
I don't think Facebook cares. They're looking to slay different dragons.
Yes, but then they get into the same legal troubles that YouTube got in, right? 8 years ago.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's like I never sued YouTube. I've never sued anyone, and nobody's ever sued me, which is remarkable considering what I do.
No, you didn't. But on the other hand, there are all these music labels, like I don't know, Warner Channel or whatever they call it now, and all the other music labels. And so, I mean, it is pretty common that copyrighted music is used, and they do not want that. And
whoa, is that common?
I think it's still pretty, at least in streams, it's very common. So they will stream stuff like on Facebook or on Twitch, and they will use in the intro, so in the waiting time, they'll play like 5-6 songs that you'd readily hear on the radio, and they are definitely copyrighted. So
yeah, I know some that have Spotify as their go-to playlist, so to speak, and they just fire away.
No, I must excuse me for a minute, but I'll be right back.
No problemo. All right, I'm taking over the podcast.
Yeah, go ahead, take over the podcast.
So yeah, no, there are a lot of people that use copyrighted music. What does that mean? All of my music is not all of my music. Everything that you find on Incompetech.com, that's copyrighted music. It is copyrighted. It is absolutely copyrighted. I say you can use it in whatever you want to use it for.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean this is a big problem. And I'm not sure what the solution is. Because copyrighted music is like I choose to give up most of my rights to copyrighted music. But I don't give up all of my rights, because if I give up all of my rights, then somebody else can say, I wrote this, you must pay me.
Yeah, and that would be stupid.
Instead of like the guy who actually made it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Poland. Looking at you.
Poland can do that?
Oh, that was the last major legal problem that I had was like, so I would publish music, and then this person in Poland would take my music and say, nope, this is mine. Ouch. And I get all of the ad revenue from these YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And God damn it. And you're like, why would you do, why are you doing this? Well, I don't know, because you live in Poland and maybe your life is shitty, or you see an opportunity here. Whatever the reason you're doing it, it's don't, just stop it. Write your own music. You can write music. You can write music in Poland. It's been done before.
Yeah, they can do that. I heard that before.
There are famous Poles who have written music. It's fine.
It's easier that way to steal someone else's work.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why they do it. It's stealing, yes, but it's
it's a weird.
wide open.
It's a weird. I don't even know if I could call it stealing. It's a weird thing where someone can appropriate your creative works as theirs and collect money from everyone else, and it is the bane of my existence, honestly.
Yes, and I would very much be for fist in the face, justice in those cases.
Fist in the face, and like, now what can I do? It's like, well, I can absolutely sue this person, and nothing will happen. Like, they won't be able to come to the U.S. That's the worst. That's the worst thing that can happen to them. They know that. And of course, they're going to keep trying to take my music. And so I've changed the way that I publish because of this now. So now I only publish in albums. I publish entire albums at a time, and I get them into the Content ID databases before anybody else. And before they even hit YouTube, like before anything, they're in those databases specifically so people can't do that to me again and again and again. And I would love to, like, if I'm very excited about a chiptunes piece, I would love to be able to publish it tomorrow, but I can't because of assholes.
Yeah, assholery is like an accomplished art form these days.
It is.
So okay, we have talked about the bad sides. Okay, I realize you get a lot of but this video was claimed because and so on.
Yeah, and by the way, if seriously, anyone out there who has used my music and they got a claim, email me. I will make things happen.
You will get 5 emails from me tomorrow. No worry.
Don't email me.
No, I'll be.
One is thanked for the podcast.
No, but I honestly will. And that's why people trust me, right?
Yeah.
That's how I got to be where I am, is because I will defend people where I have no stake. There's no money that's going to come to me from this. It's only cost me money. It only costs me time. But I think it's important beyond just normal day-to-day living. It's important to have music available to human beings. Music should be available to people.
Definitely.
Yeah, to answer a question in our chat, the problem is you cannot prove that easily that you were the first one to upload, etc. pp.
I can.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes.
Oh, I can. I have the project file. If you can give me an identical project file to what I have, okay. Now legally we're talking. You can't. Like,
no.
I was the one. I did it.
No. The problem lies not in that. The problem lies for the normal YouTuber, you have no access to the higher ups in YouTube. You get their legal department, which their pseudo legal department, which sits in Ireland, and they will almost always side with the one that made the claim, and then tell you, well, yes, and now the next step would be you sue them, and you usually don't want to do that because, well, you will win, but it's a huge time investment, right?
And it is a time investment, and which is why I go after these things so quickly and so ferociously. Because if I'm the guy that's like, oh, you can't use that guy's music, you'll just get copyright strikes on YouTube. That damages me a lot. And so I go very far to make sure that when you use my music in specific, you will not get copyright strikes ever, hopefully.
Yeah, you will get them, but well, no, people know that.
Not on YouTube. You'll get them on Facebook now, but I will still go to bat for you on Facebook.
Yeah,
I
I
make
don't
sure
use.
to try that out.
I
But not on
don't use
Facebook, on YouTube.
Not
Fuck you.
not for videos.
Don't make more work for me than I need.
Hey, there's DTube now. We can put on.
But
We can put you on DTube. You know,
The
a lot of
next
fun.
one.
Or Vimeo or whatever.
yeah. Vimeo is fine actually. I've had no problems with Vimeo.
Yes, I think actually they are quite professional. I had to look at them last few weeks, and because I was planning on a not so gamey thing to um, I was looking for a site to publish videos to, and that might be the right site actually. Well, but what I really wanted to ask, so okay, you get a lot of emails like, oh, the video was stolen and by whatever shady practitioner of the Polish arts or whatever.
I don't want
You're
to.
really
I
bashing
mean,
the
that
Polish
was
people
just
today.
that was. I love the Poles.
So do I. They have very good beer, and
They are good people.
yes, I mean, as you said earlier, they're good people everywhere. But yeah, it was just an example. But
It was.
on the other hand, do you get a lot of emails, people thanking you?
Sorry, say again.
Do you get a lot of emails, people just thanking you for your work?
Oh my God, yes. And by the way, thank you. Thank you for everyone who sends me emails. And I get some beautiful, absolutely beautiful emails from people that stun me on like a regular basis. Like I'm going back to I got an email from someone who was, I think she was like 22-year-old who was dealing with the death of her younger brother.
Ouch.
Whoa.
And was listening to my music and like made things okay. I'm like, well, that's not me, but oh my God, thank you. I'm really glad that I was able to speak to you at a level that you were like it really impacted I mean, my music really impacts people, and I can't say how do I say this? Like, I don't know why and I don't know how, but I'm really glad to be a part of your life. And I impact a lot of people's lives that I never know, except when they email me. And how many people have I impacted that don't email me, right? That don't take the time to say, you really helped me through this hard time in my life. This music was very inspiring to me. And that wasn't what the music was intended for. But my God, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that really helps me keep going.
See, that's like the homeless guy who suddenly had a fiance and had a new job and came here, and I thought, oh, well, he wants to get some free beers. And that's actually what I think makes it all worth it. So
yeah,
beyond money, of course.
So what?
Beyond just
Beyond
being
money.
paid.
Oh yeah. I mean, once you get enough money to live, it's everything's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least for me, like, because I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna buy a castle. I'm not gonna buy a yacht. I just don't.
Come on, MacLeod Castle would be.
Yeah, MacLeod Castle. Come to MacLeod Castle.
There can only be one. There
can only be one MacLeod Castle. That's true.
But then you have to add bagpipes to your list of instruments. Yeah. have to play?
Really, we wanted to ask you. Yes, can you play the bagpipes?
I have a chanter. I do not have a full set of bagpipes. So, do we want to go into bagpipe theory? So, bagpipe theory. You've got a reservoir of air that you normally squeeze out into, which is the drones, which you'll have like your bass, your fifth, and then your octave, and then you have your chanter, which is the thing that people have their fingers on and like make melodies on. I own a chanter, which is like 1/4 of a bagpipe, 1/4 of the sound coming out of a bagpipe, but you have to blow into it. And by the way, it's hard. If you know how to play the flute, you cannot play a bagpipe. It's not the same. It seems similar because you have the fingerings and you have the holes, but it's not the same. What was the question? I've forgotten.
When you buy a castle, that you have to learn to play the bagpipes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With your name, of course, you would have to buy a castle in Scotland, and then you would have to do readings of Edgar Allan Poe every night.
Oh, sure. What? No, Poe is American. I have to do like Robert Burns or something.
Yeah, but he has more fitting stories. you can also read Lord Byron or something, but I mean, Poe would be the most fitting, even though he is American.
Fair enough. I'm okay with cultural appropriation. We can bring Poe back to Scotland. That's fine.
MacPoe.
MacPoe, one of Scotland's finest writers.
Of the clan of MacPoes.
The clan MacPoe.
Okay. Did we get any more questions while I was away?
Oh, we had one question from the chat. If you would want to be the first musician on Mars, if you have to buy a one-way ticket.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm going to Mars. Of course I'm going to Mars. Why would I not go to Mars?
That's cool. Then
what we can... is like I've done everything I need to do here. I'm like, done. Like I think I've changed the world a little bit and the way that people see music. I hope I have. If I haven't, well, maybe I have to stay around here a little bit. But
make sure to get the ticket before the AI takes over.
There are no copyrights on Mars.
Here's the question. If we go to Mars, what is the government there? What is the copyright situation there? It's not defined. We get to start over. We get to hit the reset button.
You sure about that? We get to
make sanity.
You sure about that?
I mean, of course I'm not sure about that.
I mean, Curiosity is still around. Is he?
The rover?
Yeah. Maybe he built his own empire.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to fuck with Curiosity. Curiosity,
he can have his territory on Mars. You can have yours.
This is a weird callback. Because back when I did web development, I did web development for NASA. I worked on this project.
Everything comes full circle.
I worked on Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, and I worked on the landers, Curiosity and Spirit. Those were 90 days. They were planning on be there for 90 days. How many years has it been?
5, 6?
More than that. Way more than that.
Oh, holy shit.
Way more. Like, they have extended their life well beyond reasonable. One of them's dead. Spirit, I think, is dead.
Spirit is dead, yeah.
Spirit is dead. Opportunity is still okay, but, like, hurting. but it's still there, and it's still throwing data up to who's it throwing to? Is it throwing it to MRO, and that's being relayed back? I forget.
I'm not
I have
100%
I
sure.
literally have binders of these missions, like with like the specs of these missions, because it was my job. It was my job to take level 0 data, which is basically like like the stuff that just comes off the Deep Space Network, and turn it into something that people can understand. That was my job. Is I took data from these space things and turned it into things that like a 6th grade person could understand, because I was doing educational outreach. I was in that branch of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, those rovers, man. that was some crazy shit.
And it still is.
And I remember like when they were en route and we were designing the software. It's like, all right, we have to do a 90-day simulation for the 6th graders, because 6th graders, a 90-day mission is way too long for a middle school person to deal with. So we had to like sort of like make up data a little bit, but we were still getting actual data off these things. And so you'd float in to the thing. Oh my God. That was a long time ago, but I'm still really interested in it, but I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you have questions? I want to talk about MRO. I want to talk about I don't know.
Funny.
That's amazing. I really think we found out some stuff no one on the internet knew so far about you.
That you are not wrong. This is never, like, the Mars missions have never come up.
See?
It's like, yeah, I wrote software for that shit.
You're welcome, internet, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's I would sit right next to you in the shuttle, and well, we could talk about archaeology and music. Speaking of music, so what kind of music, except for high school music, is there any music, any artist you really like these days? I read you like a lot of classical music, which could be anything from Mozart to Rachmaninoff, which is a wide field. But
it's unlikely to be Mozart, but okay.
But okay, so modern music. Any modern music you really like?
Modern music I like. I mean, the music that I enjoy is the music that is embedded in the entertainment that I enjoy. So, like I watch, the Netflix original series. I watch the like pure music. I'm sure there's a bunch out there. When I lived in New York, I went to a lot of music things, and I saw a lot of music, and I was largely disappointed. But every now and again, somebody would come up with something amazing. I don't really know if I can say that I'm super excited about any modern music. I can't say that I'm excited about music. And I know that sounds really like a jerk move. Like, it's like, oh, you're a musician that has their music in more videos than any other person on the planet, and you're not really into music? Like, yeah, no, I don't really listen to music. I really don't. I listen to music as parts of narrative. That's the thing that makes me happy. Like watching a television show, and if I can ignore the music, that's an amazing show. That is an amazing show. I'm not sure I answered your question. Can you state it again? I've been drinking. Also, this is another problem.
No, in a way I think you answered the question. Before the podcast we were talking about where you could have done really good, and so we were talking about Star Trek Discovery, which has an awful opening. So well, that is something Kevin should take a look at.
Is it, or is it appropriate? I think it might be appropriate. I've seen Star Trek Discovery.
Did you like it?
I wanted to avoid this question, but now I'm curious.
No. I don't want to avoid this question. I think that. By the way, I am not going to malign any composers in this at all.
Fair enough.
No, it's not the composers. It's just that you know, it's like they made a nod at the history of Star Trek. The piece itself, it's not bad, but they just made a nod at Star Trek as something that has been there since the 60s, I think.
Right.
And they do not acknowledge that. It's just, oh wait, also we are kind of Star Trek, and that was the thing that caught me at least on the wrong foot with that intro piece on Discovery.
Okay. So there was a Star Trek. There was another Star Trek. What was the one where they like?
By the way, since you watched it, I'm sorry, but since you watched it, we call it Sport Trek. But okay.
I totally missed that. So there was the and I'm blanking on this. The Star Trek that was like the throwback Star Trek, like before the original series.
The Archer one with Captain Archer.
Maybe?
Then that was just called Enterprise, if I'm...
Star Trek Enterprise, yes. Okay. So the theme from Star Trek Enterprise, I did not like. I see what they were going for, but I think they didn't honor what came before them. And they were going for something completely new, and I get it. It's fine. It didn't speak to me. You know what does, though? The Orville. Are you aware of this series?
Oh, yes, we are.
Like, that is the best Star Trek that has been in a while.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, I legitimately, like, for the last 2 weeks, I've watched Star Trek The Next Generation. That's just what I do. Mm-hmm. It's like, going to bed, watching Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah. And by the way, some of them are not okay. Like, some of them do not hold up. But some of them are
there are a couple
amazing.
Bad episodes in them, yeah.
Yeah. The one where Beverly Crusher gets, like,
banged by a ghost?
Space ghost? Yes! Yeah. You know this one? You've seen it?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I saw that, like, 2 weeks ago. I'm like...
That's so odd and
really? But I kind of remember seeing that, and it kind of worked in the time. And it worked in that time.
And it was a very attractive ghost. I think
yes.
But back then I also thought that Beverly was quite attractive, so
I still think she is.
She was hot back then.
Yeah.
Back then, but nowadays she
must be the red hair.
She's smart.
She's smart, yeah.
So, yeah, smart is attractive. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Smart is really attractive. I don't care what you look like. Honestly, I'm not likely to know what you look like. I have problems identifying human beings. So I really understand people by their actions, and she had that character was great. I'm not going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot more than Deanna Troy. Deanna was made to be, well, visually and directly attractive, obviously.
Although, given the script, that actress is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was good.
Yes, I mean, most of the actors in there were good after the
Right.
first few episodes. So.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about Wesley Crusher? I mean, if we are going there.
Okay, I'm going there. I'll go there. Wesley Crusher, fantastic.
Really?
Yep, absolutely fantastic.
And now we must end the stream.
I just watched the one. I just watched the episode where he came back from Starfleet Academy and
was still a Starfleet brat. Yes.
And went off with the Traveler, right?
Yeah.
It was the Native American thing, and man, was that script hardcore heavy. Let me tell you something. Like, the script was heavy. Let me tell you about how horrible we treat the Native Americans in North America. And the character is still good. The actor, absolutely fantastic. Wesley Crusher never bothered me. I mean, he bothered a shit ton of people. Like, a lot of people.
He annoyed me, yes.
He never bothered me. And I think there's something wrong with me now. Because I am not in line with humanity. Because everybody hates that character, right?
No, I think it's like percentage thingy. So yes, a lot of people don't like Wesley. I didn't like him because he was always so nosy and overpowered and basically boring. And also, I mean, he's a kid. What does he have to do on a bridge of a ship?
Well, acting ensign. There was one episode that I really disliked him in, which was like the Enterprise was taken over by somebody, and like they put all of the kids into like one room, and it was a bunch of like 7-year-old kids, and Wesley Crusher, who is obviously capable and old enough to do shit.
Oh. That episode, yeah. I thought you were talking about the one where Picard gets a kid again. Becomes a kid again.
Oh, I haven't seen that one recently. I have a thing to do tonight now.
Yeah, after Discovery, actually, both of us, we rewatched all the other series, like original series, Next Generation, Archer.
Wait, did you just throw Archer into this?
Yes, of course. Well,
wait,
it's better than Discovery.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Archer, not the cartoon series. Archer.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
The Archer Enterprise.
Archer, the captain.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
With a sexy Vulcan officer.
Yeah.
And basically all of them were better than Discovery, but that might just be because I don't know. Perhaps we just get older and we view things in different ways now. It's no longer 1993 or 1996.
Right. But you're right. Which is why the Orville is so amazing.
Yes.
But do you think we just like the old Enterprises, Next Generation, and so on because of nostalgia?
Yeah.
Nah,
But I mean,
I
there's
think there's also, well, I think there's also some dishonesty in all it, and not enough respect for what came before. But I mean, a lot of people seem to like it. I don't like it, and that's more or less my problem. Same with Star Wars, right? So
I'm not even touching that one.
no, you shouldn't, and we will not.
No, but I seriously want to go. I want to go into this, because there is a new Star Trek. I don't know if you can get it where you live. It's on like CBS Access thing. It's Klingon heavy.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the new series?
No.
Oh, well then we can't talk about it.
What's the new series?
I don't know. It's the new Star Trek series. It's on. I don't know. I get it illegally. I honestly.
There's a
don't know
new one besides Discovery?
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah.
Okay.
Wolf came through.
Yeah, and
you have to shoot us a link over Twitter.
No, you just Google it. It's fine. What's the new Star Trek Trek series? It's the thing.
I mean, it's pretty hard to watch Orville from where we live because we don't get cable.
Yeah, no one does anymore.
So we have to find ways around that. But the internet is a tricky and.
Yeah, but no, there's a new Star Trek series, and I watched like the first 6 episodes, and I'm like, I mean, is it interesting? Is it entertaining? You know?
If people say Kapla, it's interesting.
Kapla.
If they at least can pronounce some Klingon,
It's honestly,
and
it's like
not
it's
in
half
slow
Klingon.
motion.
It's all subtitled. Like the show is mostly subtitled.
Okay, now you have me triggered again. I want to see that.
Yeah. Me as well.
I'm not sure it's that great. I think the Orville is I think the Orville is better. I think well, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? So the Orville is tapping into like the people who have seen the original Star Trek, who've seen Next Generation, who've seen DS9. And are like, really, you weren't aware of, like, they throw into high relief the things that were weird, and they make jokes of it, and it's great. But they still deal with real problems like gender reassignment surgery. Like, that's a thing, that's a problem in humanity today, and that's what like the original Star Trek dealt with back then.
Exactly.
And they do it beautifully, just like absolutely beautifully. And the new Star Trek is the actual Star Trek, not the Orville. It's a very different animal, and they're pushing into different things, but they're not dealing. What is the purpose of science fiction? I guess is what it comes down to. Like, the new Star Trek tells amazing stories, great stories, but they're not stories that are relevant to me and my life and the people I know. The Orville is still telling stories that are relevant to my life and people I know.
I think that captures it because perhaps the new Star Trek captures something that younger people might be more interested in, and we are not.
We're not young people? Is that what you're saying? You're saying I'm too old to watch television?
No, you're too old for this shit.
You're not too old to watch television, but I mean, I'm how many days are left? Like 13 days, and I'll have like a 44 on my life age, and I think things have changed since like 20 years ago or so. So
Yeah, let's hope so.
so perhaps there's a difference
Because
in
20
interest
years
now.
ago was kind of shitty.
Oh, I liked it.
Really? We had
Yeah,
Duran. It was good.
yeah. Duran had a nice Bond song.
Duran is still making new music and they're still nailing it.
I
It's still...
haven't. I must admit I haven't heard a Duran song in ages,
Me
Yeah.
neither.
aside from the old ones.
Suffice it to say, they're still really good. Like, really good. Honestly, really good.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna believe me. Nobody listening to this is gonna believe me. It's like Duran. What the fuck is that? It's like, no, seriously.
Oh, they'll
Still really
definitely have to. Most of them definitely will have to Google Duran.
good. Luckily, it's easy to spell.
Yeah.
Yes. So, aside from music, which is your life, anything else that you would say these are great interests of mine and hobbies, except for torturing archaeologists for information?
How is that an invalid hobby? Like, why can't I do that?
You can always do that to me. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to ask me the question again. What?
Oh, do you have any other things that you really enjoy in life, like great hobbies or stuff that you really like to do aside from music?
I paint a little bit. That's fun for me. I like making paintings.
Do you use the Bob Ross technique?
I don't. I'm all acrylic. I'm all acrylics. Bob Ross was oils. Yeah, no, I make acrylics of, funny looking stuff that amuses me. I can send you photos of my paintings if you'd like, but
Sure.
that's
Sure.
really, I mean, that's for me. I'm not looking to like
If you don't want to share
sell
them, it's
paintings.
fine.
No, I mean, come to my house. I will share all you like. Or I can send photos of what I've done, but I don't know. What do I do? What do I do other than music? Not entirely sure. What were you expecting? Like, what was your guess? What was your guess of what would Kevin do? It's not music related.
I don't know. I mean,
That's why we ask.
yeah, if we already would have a guess, and then we would have asked you like, oh, you are really into, I don't know, tree identifying or dogs
Yeah.
or cats or whatever.
I'm into space. I love space. I've always loved space.
See?
The Falcon Heavy is on the pad. There's going to be a test fire coming up this week. I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I mean, most of what I do right now is like understanding how the computers are coming to replace us all. And
Yes,
they
will do.
really are. So I started like 3 years ago. I'm like, 11 years. That is how long that I can maintain like a stranglehold on like the kind of music that I write. Like, I tend to write really quirky music. The best stuff I think I write is like weird, quirky, funny, derpy music. And humor is difficult right now for AI. And so I think I have about a 6-year buffer. I got about 6 years that I can make music that sounds funny before the computers will figure it out. I think that's about how long I have. And I just enjoy watching. I like I said, well, like when Alpha Zero came out with their chess computer, I'm like, well, that is the end of chess. That is, there is one correct way to play chess, and if you're clever enough, you'll win with white, but you will never lose with black. Like, if you're clever enough, you can do that. Like, Alpha Zero showed us this. It went against the, well, it didn't actually go against Stockfish. The Stockfish it went against was not this, like, if you could, how far do I have to back up? How many of you people know what Stockfish is? So Stockfish is a computer engine, which is an amazing computer engine. And it is, if we have to break it down, it's like 3 parts. It's got its opening book, it's got its middle game algorithms, and then it's got its end game database, right? So if you play against Stockfish online, you will lose. It will fuck you because you're a human being, and it's way better than you. So what Alpha Zero did, Alpha Zero went up against a like a portion of Stockfish. Stockfish didn't have its opening game. It wasn't able to allocate its time. Like, you had to make like, the rules of this game was you have to make a move every 1 minute. So you can, like, if you're Stockfish, you can analyze 70,000 positions per second, roughly. And so you get 1 minute per move, which is not how people play chess. It's not even how computers play chess. Because normally a chess game has a time limit, not any particular move.
Mm-hmm.
So like you play chess, right?
I play chess,
yeah.
So like the first 3 moves, the first 5 moves, bam, 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 bam. They're fast. They're always fast, right?
Yes, you have decided on an opening and you play it through.
I've got this opening. This person is not gonna screw with my opening. Well, like, okay, like you do an opening and then they're like, oh, and then they start moving the pawn on the H file, and you're like, well, that's weird. It seems I should take advantage of this, but you know what? I'm comfortable with the Queen's Indian opening, whatever opening you play. I don't know what you play. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
All right. So, yeah, and let's do a quick Q&A.
Let's do that.
If there are any questions from the chat, ask them now. Oh, and it got a lot of new fans today, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love space too. Space game, space
yes,
video, space art.
Space, gotta get to space. Space. S-P-A, space. Space, gotta go to space. Gotta go to space. Space.
Someone's been playing Portal.
Your music definitely was destined to do Kerbal Space Program then.
Oh my god.
I love it.
Okay. You're all too shy. Okay, can change that. Anything you want to tell us, or any questions you have for us? Any archaeology questions? I'll be happy to answer in private any day.
A question: where can I find this new Star Trek series?
Oh yeah,
Look, it's probably on torrents. You just
Okay.
torrent it. It's fine. There's a way to get. I think CBS All Access is the thing that has it now. Yeah, I don't know.
We will dig around.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. The effects are good. The story is good, but it doesn't grab me, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I really like the main character. The main character is like an outcast. Because the whole thing about Starfleet is like the cohesiveness of it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like somebody's like, I'm resigning my commission. It's like, oh my God, this is a huge deal. Like so that's respected. And so we have this weird mutineer main character. And there's some really good characters in it. Not God damn it. Sorry.
Okay, we definitely need to watch that. Keep an eye on that. If it's better than Discovery, it's already won, and it's really easy. Okay, so I think we can wrap it up. So first of all, you must get back to Wheels of Doom. That's something we internally decided, and we'll get you any OBS help we can give you.
Definitely.
But
I think I honestly need to run 2 computers. There's no way to do it with my main computer.
Yeah, as I said the other day when we talked, there's a lot of people who need high computing powers to what they actually do, and then they use a different computer to do the streaming, so that should be no problem. You'll be able to set it up. Well, but it's 1 a.m. now here, so
ja, genau.
Yep.
Yeah, genau. But I must say, we really, I think I'm talking, speaking not only for me, but for the viewers too. We really enjoyed this interview, and we loved to have you here. So, and yes, you're right. You did call yourself the soundtrack of the internet one day, and and I think in a way you're very right, and you did change options and life for people, and your music is very impressive, I must say. I like it very much. Not everything.
I agree, by the way.
But many pieces you made absolutely fabulous, and well, I hope we can stay in contact, and I think we really hope we can get you in again another day. So once the AIs have taken over the music business, we'll be very.
It's just gonna be you and me talking. That's all it's gonna be.
We'll be very interested to hear what you do then. I'm sure it'll be interesting anyway.
That's all we'll have. That's fine.
Okay, so
I mean, we filled 3 hours easily, so that isn't a problem for us.
We've been here 3 hours?
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, I think more than 3 hours, actually.
Oh my God, I really apologize to everyone who's been saying.
No,
we've been roughly
so sorry.
3 hours.
No, it was really
I try to
interview.
be really brief. I really do.
No, it was
We
a
had
great interview.
fun.
We really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I had a blast.
Yes, absolutely. It was a really great interview, and we are so glad you agreed to this interview. And yeah, so Toru. And so does yeah, so do our viewers. So anyway, ask me archaeology questions or anything anytime, and I think Chaka will be open for OBS questions anytime.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
And
honestly, if you want to ask me any questions about music theory, honestly, seriously, email me. I know a lot.
I know your Twitter.
and I can help. I think I can help. Like music theory is a bitch, but If you want to know about things, I've been there. I think I can do it.
Oh yeah,
Sounds great.
one other thing. Perhaps you were working actually on a intro song for us. So how is that one going?
I opened it up early this morning, and I'm like, I have to go off and do other things. I do look at it, and I'm going to get you an opening. I will get you an absolute opening.
Awesome.
It's going to be a little bit over the top. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a little more.
We are very much over the top.
You've been here, and now you know us. I mean, we've talked 3 hours, and so.
And you can swear here anytime. So.
Yeah, it's going to be way over the top of that. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
So yes, we would be very happy to have you again. And as said, so let's just keep the channels open, and whatever you want from us, just ask. And other way around, we'll ask you a lot of questions even after this interview. I'm sure they'll be rolling in time.
All right.
And
we'll do like every 3 months. We'll do another one. That's fine.
We will.
I mean, if it works out, okay for you guys, I had a blast today. So thank you so much. I lost track of myself several times while answering questions, and I feel really bad about that.
That's no problem.
Normally, I write down what I'm replying to on a piece of paper, and I don't have any.
Yes, but we make that hard for the interviewees, right? Because admit it, we are not a very structured podcast when it comes to interviews, because we like it that way, not because we couldn't. We like it. We like to get in like an introspective, and at the same time, we just like to talk.
Yeah, and the natural flow, you can't get that if you narrow it down to simply asking the questions and sticking to the script, so to speak.
Yeah, I still have more questions about the Roman use of concrete. I mean,
we can talk about that.
Because like they had access to like basically concrete, right?
Yes,
they went to mine, right?
They did something similar to concrete for their roads, and I can
the lime and
And I think let me check my bookshelf. I think I can send you. I must scan it, but I think I can send you a very good approximation as to how they built their roads, and more importantly, the aqueducts. Because
I mean, the roads you can make with just gravel.
Yes.
The concrete is that's the bitch, right?
But let's talk about that another day.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have to talk about archaeology.
As said, well, you have my Twitter channel, you have my email.
Absolutely.
We did send you an invite to Discord. You can ask me anything any day about if any of that stuff really interests you. And I must reread some stuff on that too, I guess. But I still know how Roman roads and aqueducts are done. So.
And if I can assist you with OBS, just hit me.
Yeah, I think you have to assist me with building a computer to do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and that was his job at the time, so he can do that too.
All right. Yeah, send me an email.
Sure.
So we are very, very happy that you agreed to this interview, and it was a really, really good one, I think. And thanks so much. And to all of you out there, I hope you enjoyed too. I didn't see any complaints, so I think you did. And Kevin is, you can reach Kevin via Twitter and various other sources on his site in Competech.com.
Yep.
Which we will also post in Discord one more time.
And it will be in the video description later in the VOD. So anyone should find you if they want to.
Once again, thanks so much. It was a really, really great interview. I enjoyed it very much. I know Trucker did.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think anyone who watched it. And yes, let's do it again one day.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
But of course, we will not forgive you if you do not revive Wheels of Doom, because that's a really good show.
I mean, yes, I will. I will do it again. I will do it. I will absolutely do it again.
See, guys, you have a promise there from the Fabulous.
Nailed it.
One and only.
It hurts me. You do not know how much time it takes me to do that.
Oh, we can.
It hurts me, but I didn't know that it was so beloved, and I appreciate that.
Yes, I think everyone who watched that show had blast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so until next time, and there will be a next time. And yeah, really, really great interview. As to our viewers, as said, hope you enjoyed it. And yes, we did send Kevin an invite to our Discord. And yeah, I think that's all we can. I think that's the moment we reach the pinnacle, the apex, and there it ends.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Kevin for being here, and have a wonderful rest of the day.